Yes, people, good morning once again, good afternoon and good evening, and more importantly, blue morning to you. Welcome back to Chelsea's Perspective. I hope you're all doing well. I sincerely do mean that. And specifically, welcome back to another transfer show slash match review on a Chelsea Perspective. I hope you're, again, all doing well. I can't even get myself together because this is still 3:25 a.m. here, but I believe after a few sip of my coffee that I will be fine. Today we'll talk about the humiliating loss to Arsenal in the Florida Cup final. We'll also look at some transfer updates. Even before we start, we'll look at transfer updates. Again, it's not really a good day for us all. I know some of us are still bitter. The blames are, pointing at all directions, trying to find out whose fault it is. But that's by the way. Again, sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. I hope you all are doing well. As it is, sorry, I can't speak this morning. As it is a tradition here on Chelsea Perspective, I will first of all try to catch up, with people in the chat, say hello to them and see what they have to say even before we get started. Hopefully there isn't too many to read now because the show started a bit late. Here's the True Blue, always here providing great value to the channel and the content overall. Again, if you haven't, as you're coming in, keep liking the video to help us reach more people. I sincerely appreciate that. He says, I know what's coming, the BSS blaming the former board 4231 with two DMs invited Arsenal onto us. Players Tuchel moaned about leaving their minds, didn't play again, and all those yada yada yada. I know about that. Here's IBZ saying, I am just going to say I am happy TT sees what I've been seeing. I think he's been seeing it for a while. Defense, midfield, and attack investment, please. At the same time, I want this to happen so Todd sees the reality of the situation. 2 seconds to like. Again, thank you. You made it to Champions League. And my brother here, Leon says, blue morning, Kuchila and the panel. Blue morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. D says, good morning. Big up the chat. Yesterday's performance took us showing Todd Barley to sort out these issues out by selling us some of the dead wood. We have, we clearly known our mistakes. We knew that before time. There's a lot to sort out. Yep, that's the case. And here, Chelsea all the way says, become a trusted process. Lukaku was the problem. Where does a final base in the world and all that? Again, I hope Todd Barley makes the right decisions for Tuchel. It's known fact we have some deadwood. That's no hidden. And Deadwood we're calling them doesn't mean they're not good players. Again, the issue goes beyond that. Lukaku has left, so why are the problems getting worse? Imagine if Lukaku played conspiracy theories. Again, everything will land on him. They will blame him. We know who has got mirrors at our club, like Mendy. Again, we're not going to try to isolate any player. It was an awful performance overall. Again, everybody, all the players, they were all off. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the page. Again, let me just try to say hello to some people. Liam, I hope you're doing well. Diz, I hope you're doing well. All sports fan Adam, say, hey, coach, I'm back from church. I hope you pray for everybody and for our beloved too. I didn't get much sleep last night. I managed to convince the service, to mourn the results. I take this very seriously. It has implications. So many. It does have implications because we fans, we love our team so much. Sack TT and get Pochettino. Yeah, it gets worse with Pochettino. But that's, by the way, the solution is sack TT. That's you. Even Tuchel said we're not ready to even play Everton, and the squad isn't in a position to to compete. That's just the truth. You can see it yourself. And my brother Fahim is in the house. Nice to see you here, man. How are you doing? Again, I hope you're sincerely doing well. It says our squad has a progressively gone worse from 2021. That's the truth. Again, please, if you have time, go check out Fahim's YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. I think I'm all caught up with all the people here in the chat. Mendy says the African Cup of Nations has been, a free card, played every game, whether he made mistakes or not. I will go into that argument again. I've done that before, and again, I know what came up. Big up everyone. It's going to be a long season. I'm glad Alonso is leaving. He needs to take Aspi with him. Again, we'll see what happens there. And Philip Smith says, "Good morning, Coach. Good morning to you too, brother. And thank you for all the love you're showing the channel. I sincerely do appreciate that. We will be fine, guys. Calm down. I still believe we'll be, as Peter FX says that. Again, let's see what happens. Now, I'm going to try to, get some people in, do the transfer update, and then we'll move straight to talking about the game. We need a DM and an attacker. We need players in all departments, not just that place alone. Chelsea have a big problem in attack. We need a striker who can score 20 goals. Again, we've heard that story before. We need to fix the midfield because the fix, a lot of space, a lot of places to fix. Let me just read this. We need to fix the midfield because we keep buying attackers after attackers and it doesn't work. Some of these are deluded fix, the defense and midfield, because buying attackers won't fix it. Won't. That's just the truth. Too much table tennis. Maybe that's the case. And that's what Oaks has been argued. We need, to prioritize what we need to do and not just be playing table tennis again. But if you're watching, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. Again, let's shoot for 300 likes a day, and I know we can get that. So thank you for joining the show this morning. I appreciate you guys a lot. Again, I'm going to bring in those that are waiting behind the scenes, and I'm going to go ahead with the transfer update, and then I'll try, to bring in the other panelists that are here with me. Sorry, my throat, it is probably from the cold. Apologies for that. It says we need Leao. Maybe Leao alone will not solve the case. Give Broya a chance. Broya, I think, is staying. That's definite right now. While West Ham has moved on from this pursuit, they've given up. Now, let's look at this. I want to read this, first of all. And this is Thomas Tuchel's statement probably after the game. Maybe you could say this is reactionary, but we knew before time we needed to sign a lot of players. It is not, I don't think it's reactionary. People say it as a reactionary, but I don't think it is. He says we have a lot of players who think about leaving, are looking for other options, and we have players who left. We had an urgent appeal for quality players, a huge amount. Pay attention to that aspect. Again, he says we got 2 quality players, but we are not competitive like this. We need more players. That's very clear. And even if you want to argue, okay, it's the manager's fault and all that, yada. The truth is, if players if they already set their mind on leaving the club, then they will be. Or when you see them on the pitch, they will look as if they are disinterested, and that doesn't help the cohesion of the team. So those things add to the number of players the club should consider letting go, because it's that simple. If a player doesn't want to be here, you're never going to get 100% performance from them. It is that simple, and that nothing changes that. So again, to add the number of players that will be leaving the club, we're hearing that Marcos Alonso. Again, as you can see on the screen here, Marcos Alonso's move from Chelsea to Barcelona is at the final stages. Negotiations have been planned for after their preseason tour in the US. That adds to the number of players we will be losing this window. Even if Emerson will stay, I think we still have a problem in that area because Emerson, for me, hasn't shown, again, that he can execute that role very well. The argument is that Thomas Tuchel likes him. But would see again, like I said, the fact that Marcos Alonso is leaving adds to the number of players we'll be needing this transfer window. And Aspie too will be leaving. So it adds to that number. We need defenders, we need midfielders, we need attackers. But we'll get into talking about the game proper. Maybe after the game, then we get to talk about what we really need, because the game showed areas where we need reinforcements. Again, there's the argument that it's just a preseason, and that's why these players underperformed. But if you looked at it, I think the problem runs deep. It's beyond, defensive needing to reinforce defensively. It's beyond needing midfielders who can create more clear-cut chances. Because no matter how you see it, we did not create, many enough clear-cut chances yesterday, except when Ziyech came into the game, into the fold, if you prefer. But that's, by the way, again, if you're coming in, keep liking the video. We have 71 people watching, and we have just 12 likes. We can do better than that. Remember, we're shooting for 300 likes by the end of the show. And like I've always told you, you don't have to donate your hard-earned cash. Again, you being part of the show, even when you're not commenting, even when you're commenting in the chat and all that, sharing the stream on social media platforms where you have presence, those things do go a long way. So again, thank you. Thank you for all the support you've shown this channel. It's growing as fast as it is growing right now because of your support. We need Ronaldo. Again, that's your argument. And my brother Trinidad and Tobago in the house again. This is just a preseason. Let us come now. It is just a preseason game. But there's some, we didn't even see the spirit. We didn't even see the fight, let alone, the argument being, okay, maybe it is one mistake there or in the other place, but it was everywhere. I watched Jesus and Zinchenko last night and was just full of envy. Wish we signed them after being linked. Our midfield was just, streamrolled last night. We might need a Kante playing until he's 40. Again, it remains to be seen if we have a Champions League match scheduled for a country where you must be, vaccinated before you participate. Then we have a serious problem at hand. So like the him not being vaccinated is a big problem on its own. But that's, by the way, that's not what I'm going to talk about here now. It's Tuchel's fault. Werner and Havertz play and score for Germany, but struggle for Chelsea. You could argue that. I pray to God Kante is fit again. Please, again, I've done that. You don't need to ask that. This proves that Broya really needed. He is needed indeed. I'm going to come to the panel straight away. And I want to start with Jules. Jules, I want to get your thoughts, your overall thoughts on the game. Overall, what do you think? What went wrong for you?
What went wrong for me is that we didn't have the passion yesterday. Where was the fight? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, where it went wrong is where our defense weren't good enough. Like I feel that the back four. We tried to play with a back four, and you're telling me Chalobah had a few errors, and that's where we went wrong, because Silva was normally good playing in a back three. You're forgetting this, yeah. You're forgetting this. So, like, there's certain areas that we need to fix. You know what I'm saying? Certain areas that we need to fix, but like obviously Tuchel feels more comfortable playing with a back three because he knows that it's a better way to play. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that certain ways that we went wrong yesterday with the attack as well. The attack was poor. Everything was like it went to wrong. It went to wrong plan. So the midfield as well. Anybody that thinks that Gallagher's not a 6, he isn't. He isn't a 6. He's an 8. Yeah. So there's certain areas that we need to fix. Move on to IBZ.
Again, here's the thing. What I think about Chalobah is this. He's a good player, but I've seen him on occasions try it centrally. I don't think he executes that role very well. He looked out of place. Again, you can still see he's a good player, but overall, I don't think let me just say overall, he looked out of place, and that was why I think we considered, was it the first or second goal? Because he was out of position. And usually when he's on the right-hand side, when he moves forward, you see Silva drift to the right to cover up that space. Maybe there's a bit of confusion there. Players not being sure where to be, at any given point in time. But that's why we move on again. Right now, we have 79 people watching and still have just 20 likes. Please keep liking the video. Remember, we're shooting for 300 likes, and I know we can get there. So thank you, for all the love you've shown this channel. But please, as you're coming in, keep liking the videos. IBC, I'm going to come to you straight away. I want to get your thoughts, your thoughts on overall the team's overall performance yesterday.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Pardon my manners. Sorry, I didn't ask that.
Okay. What's good, Jules?
Big up, IBZ.
What's good, chat? Yesterday, I started by I forgot. It skipped my mind. So I was watching Man City versus Bayern Munich. I was on ESPN. Weather delays. Within 12 minutes, he scored it. Then I just heard something about Chelsea. And the commentary, hang on, are we playing? I switched it. On the 27th minute. We're what, 2-0? Was it 2-0 or a goal down? Either a goal down or two goals. A goal down, sorry. So I was like, oh no. So I didn't even so I watched it. Got in there, and it just looked like we were not up for the race from the beginning. Arsenal showed that they are more prepared for this window, for this season than we are. Obviously, it's evident. Obviously, they got their signings in, they got their preseason well, they scored, they got their cohesion ready. And the final game of the American tour, they put in a very strong side against us, and they showed us how prepared they are, whilst we are not prepared. It's not about Tuchel, it's not about the players. We are just not prepared for this season, and it's evident. Obviously, we've had 3 months of sanctions. We have a manager who's inherited a squad from the past 3 regimes. We are slow to get players. We are not ready for this season. So yesterday was evident that we were off the park. For when I see Gabriel Jesus in his element, just so comfortable, Zinchenko on that left-hand side, just playing training with us, it shows that we are really, really lacking. Tuchel's, I'm not angry because this is where you see what's good or what gone with the team.
Yeah, that's why preseason is important.
But it leaves me with a lot of concern, like Tuchel said, that we are obviously evidently lacking in where we need to strengthen. Our back line needs reinforcements because Cesar Azpilicueta and Alonso, like Tuchel said, minds are elsewhere. The minds are not with the camp right now. And if you ain't got minds with the camp right now, at this stage of preseason, it's a bit worrying if going into the new season with 2 weeks to go. You could argue the player positioning was not okay. I mean, Gallagher playing the position he played was a little bit ineffective. He's not a bad player at all. I just believe that the players weren't ready. There's a lot of factors. Preseason, humidity, traveling from West Coast to East Coast in short space of time. There's a lot of factors. But the be-all and end-all, coach, we are not ready. We haven't prepared as much as Arsenal, and it shows that our preparation is, if we want to compete, is not there, which is obviously worrying. Now, why I'm happy is that Tom Bowley can see this firsthand, and he can address it in what I will hope very, very quickly, and have a meeting Monday morning, find out what needs to be addressed and get things working. Because yesterday was a real humbling experience. If we've been talking about this player's good, that player's good, we need this, we don't need that. Yesterday made us understand that we don't know nothing. We need this and we need that. So hopefully, maybe we get a few more signings before. Well, we got to play another match in Italy on Friday. So by
Phantom, you come in. Looks like we lost him. Come in. Let us know what your thoughts on the game overall. What went wrong for you? And just quickly, Smith, David, please let us know you're joking or if you're serious about it. Again, some people will pass out. It looks like IBZ is back. Just let him finish if you don't mind. And just quickly, let me catch up with the chat. I've read that again. We were in a back three for goals. 3 and 4. The issue was Arteta. He high pressed the sixes and exploited the spaces behind to stretch the defenders like they did in the 4-2 at Stamford Bridge. And I argued during the pregame show that this game is going to be won in the midfield. And I think my friend and brother, what's his name, Tobago, argued otherwise, saying he's not afraid of the midfield. Again, look what happened. And again, another highlight for me is Gallagher should even playing anywhere close to those the 6-6 position, even if we're going to continue playing with the 2-6s. I think he doesn't read the game well, but that's, by the way, go ahead, IBZ, continue. And big up to the Queen of the House, Viola. Thank you for finding time to join us.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I had a little
no worries.
Yeah, so I'll hopefully, before the game, our final preseason match, maybe we'll have additional signings that will be able to quickly join the squad. Because I'm not capping, guys.
I got breaking news.
Yeah, just hold on. You get a chance.
Players, coach, I remember the first time I joined this YouTube channel to start giving opinions, and the question you put on just after the season ended, before the transfer, what do we need to invest in? I said defense, midfield, and attack. We're getting players out. We need in. Like, players need to come in, and if they don't come in, if I will just accept. If this is what it is, because I'm a realist, you know what I mean? And I know that life is a circle, you know what I'm trying to say to you? So I'll accept that we are not competing for what we want to desire to compete in for. So if that's a title challenge, we can forget about it now on this Sunday. We can forget about that. We're just going to compete to be respectable in the league. If we're going the way we are going, we're not forget about Champions League, forget about challenging City. Did you see City yesterday against Bayern Munich? Oh my God. We're not ready for what? We thought Arsenal was a problem. Make City catch us first. We're not ready. So if we accept that this is where we are, I will accept it because I love the Blues. And I will accept that, you know what, Tuchel, you're going to have to rebuild properly. Todd Bowley, you're going to have to rebuild properly. And it's going to probably take you a couple of years to do what you probably want to do. And I shouldn't expect that this year. Hell, I shouldn't expect that next year. Because, again, we got players that are coming back that are hard to release, that are hard to get rid of. We got players that we can't get in. It's a bit of a big mess. We got 2 weeks before the start of the start of the season. It is a big mess. So we need to just maybe accept our. I used to tell Arsenal fans a few years ago, like, listen, accept that you're not the Invincibles anymore. You know, I think we need to realize that this is not the Abramovich era anymore, where things will get done very quickly. It's going to take a very long time. It will be a long season. So that's my acceptance after everything. After everything, seeing yesterday, realization, I've accepted that this season I'm not expecting trophy. I'm not expecting top 4. Hell, I'm expecting top 6 at the most. That's it. That is it. That is it.
Phantom, if you don't mind, thank you for that great contribution right there. If you don't mind, let's get Jules. He says he has an update for us. And please, if you're watching, keep liking the video. We have just 27 likes, and we have 148 people watching. Remember, guys, we're shooting for 300 likes today, and we can get there. And if we do, it's all because of you. So please keep liking the video. Thank you so much. And also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you for all the great support and love you've shown to this channel. You go ahead, IBC. You said you have an update for us so that I can bring in my brother, Phantom.
That was me.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, sorry, Jules.
Kounde's not travelled with Sevilla, by the way, for their match. They got a match today. He's not travelled with them.
Okay, that's a good update, but that doesn't mean he's coming to us or he's going to the Barcelona. Well, I think that's you could argue that's normal. They've accepted he's going to leave them. The question is where he's going to go. But thank you for that update. Again, it does make sense. Phantom, just quickly, says TT is favorite for a sack. Sack, guys. Your thoughts? I don't think that would be the case.
No.
I think the situation is clear. Bolly could see it. even if the argument is that he has good enough players, that all he has to do is change the system or change the teams or change the structure or formation, if you prefer, to start getting the best out of these players. The question is, does he want those players? If he doesn't want those players, then to really back him, you'd have to get him the players he wants. Again, and you could argue we haven't gotten him the players he wants. So I think Todd Bowley is seeing that, and clearly a consortium, they could see that themselves. And again, I think there's also an agreement in place that we need a rebuild. But I think my concern is that it's going to be a gradual process. It will never be, even if you try to be drastic about it, there is so much. There's only so much players you can sign in a single window because you're looking for quality, and we've seen that ourselves. And every quality player attracts interest from multiple clubs, and you see what's going on. So, Phantom, let's talk about the game. Tell us what you think went wrong. Or, what do you think about it?
Okay, first of all, I've been a very, very big Timo Werner supporter, giving him time, giving him patience. But today, 5 minutes into the game, he was passing it to the defender. There was no blue shirt around. There wasn't even a blue shirt in the neighborhood. He just kicked it into four different Arsenal players. There wasn't even a blue shirt. He just kicked it there without looking, as if assuming that there would be, because his head was down looking at the ball. And then he just decided, maybe I think Alonso, not Alonso, but whoever, Sterling was there. And I'm just gonna kick it, and hoping that that's where he's gonna be, without even looking up to see if he was there. I saw this, and I even freeze framed it just to make sure I was correct, that he didn't look before he kicked the ball. And it's like, Timo, it's a basic skill. Sorry, this is now what, year 3 for Timo, and he's complaining. Let's package him up to whichever Bundesliga team wants to loan him or pay him. Let's get. We're not gonna get the value back. What was the 50 million pounds? We're not gonna get that kind of value back out of Timo. Let's just 25 million, and any Bundesliga team wants to take him from us, that's fine. I'd let him go for 20 at this point. So it's Timo is. I'm done with Timo. That's it. I really like Sterling. He brought some pace. Unfortunately, there wasn't the Timo Werner there next to him when Timo was supposed to be there. He was on the other side of the field. You could hear Tuchel yelling at Timo again today. I don't speak German, but you could see it again that he was yelling at Timo from the field, like, "Hey, you're out of position." It's like, why are you on the other side of the field again from where you're supposed to be, Timo? There's just Alonso. He came in the game late. I don't know. And Alonso, Aspie, these people that don't want to be on our team. Alonso right now, we kind of need him, because until Chilwell is fully recovered, who else are we going to put there? Kennedy? Emerson? Alonso is still the better bet. So that's a problem.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, I was going to say, as far as the Koulibaly came in at the end, why didn't he come in earlier? When it mattered.
Well, to be
here's the thing. Some people say it's just a preseason, but when it's Arsenal, it's no preseason. Whether the game is played in Jupiter, whether the game is played in Mars, whether it's played wherever it's played, it's a London derby.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
It's a London derby. That's the only aspect where I'm really, I'm not happy. If it was another team, a team from not domestic team, if it was another team like from a Bundesliga, from La Liga, again, you can say, okay, it doesn't matter, but it matters, because this gives them the psychological edge going into the season. And for the past 4 or 5 years, let me say 4 years to be safe, every time we'll play Arsenal, I have to be honest, I am usually concerned. Even if they've lost a million games, coming into our game, I usually argue this is not going to be, forget Arsenal losing a million games. I am quite sure they're not going to lose 1,000,001 games when they play us, because to us, every game they play against us is a final. And I don't think Tuchel has been able to instill that mentality. It's not being able, it doesn't look like he's been able to instill that derby mentality on these players. The only player I saw yesterday show something that felt like it was a derby was Reece James. That's what you see. Sometimes you fight. But it was a little too late. We didn't see the spirit. Yes, it's a preseason game, and this is against Arsenal. How many times is that going to happen? You hear Chelsea have won 500 games. They haven't lost one. The moment we play Arsenal, we lose our first game of the season. You hear Arsenal have lost 4 or 5 games in a row. The moment they play Chelsea, they win their first game. That shows, in terms of the derby mentality, they have an edge over us. And this happening, I talked about that before the show. Even the thumbnail says it's more than a friendly. And now going into the season, they have, you can argue a mental edge.
Momentum.
Over us. IBC, I want you to come into that. And before I do that, please, we have 171 people watching and we have just 42 likes. We can do better than that. Let's shoot for 300 likes by the end of the show. IBC, you can come in.
Sorry to cut you off there, Coach. You echoed it right there. I've been watching a few preseason matches, before our one, and goals are being scored in preseason. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've only scored 2 goals. 2 goals.
Yeah, I think 3 in total.
3 in total from
2 against Club America, 1 against Charlotte.
Charlotte, okay, yeah, that's it. 3 goals in preseason. Wow. So that's concerning. That's very concerning. That shows that the attacking or chance creation is not there. Cool. Second one is the one you just said, the Arsenal-Chelsea derby mentality. See, when I mentioned how Mourinho used to set foundations in which we were very, very successful on, people think, I'm just living in the past. Mourinho will never lose to Arsenal like that. Hell, he will never lose to Arsenal. Because you understand the importance of winning derbies like that, which galvanize momentum for you to do whatever you want to do in your campaign, be it through preseason or season. Whatever the mentality is, you won't lose to Arsenal. Arsenal have that mentality with Tottenham Hotspur. They're now starting to have that mentality with us. Arsenal have that mentality is they can have a messed up season, but you see when they play Tottenham Hotspur, that is all jokes, no rubbish, no lele. Because there is that, we can do anything, but not to Spurs. Not to Spurs. Now it's starting to creep up with Chelsea. Oh, not with Chelsea. Who are Chelsea? It's happened many a times now. And that is worrying because now Tuchel doesn't galvanize the importance of local derbies with the squad. So they don't have the passion when we have a lot of homegrown players who understand the derby against Arsenal, like Mason Mount, Reece James, Trevor Chalobah, Conor Gallagher, to name a few. They know the importance of these London derbies. So for them not to show passion, more of an instill in the game, shows that the manager is not probably echoing that from the dressing room. So that makes it more harder to go into these games where you should get, because you see these games, these are the games that you gather the most momentum because this is your local bragging rights. These are your noisy neighbors. These are the guys you see more or less every day. So if you get one up on them, you can get one up on everyone else in the world. You know what I mean? You know, it's sort of like that adage. Charity begins at home. If I can show my quality in my local area, I can take on the world. If I can't do that, who am I? You know what I'm trying to say to you? So that needs to be worked on. That needs to be worked on. And again, every single preseason I've seen of this round, everybody has built up the intensity. The intensity has stepped up. I don't care if it's preseason. They've stepped up the intensity because they know in the next couple of games, is the first competitive game they will be playing. Bayern Munich have a competitive game after us. They got to play their German Community Shield Type B. They got to play that next. Man City, after this, they got to play Liverpool next week, Sunday, in 7 days' time, guys, live at Wembley. Yeah? We got to play pre-season on Friday. So we have to be prepared, and the preparation of others has lacked us. We have lacked in it. So we have not shown the intensity. Like the intense, I don't know if you guys saw the Man City game before the weather destroyed the play interval. But wow, you feel like it was a Champions League knockout stage first leg, the way they were going at it. It was so quick, end to end. And it wasn't because, oh, they want to put on a show. Yeah, they want to put on a show for the American crowds. But it's also the level of intensity they have to get used to when they begin the campaign, and we lack it. So, again, I will just sit down and just understand that this is where we are, because we are in transition. The people that are supposed to be helping us in Toboli, they haven't really got the minerals or the experience to hit the ground running. So I have to give them time. And I know that Thomas Tuchel won't find it easy to get what he needs because he hasn't got the right experience helping him. So I have to give him time. The players I have are past free regime players, not his players. So I have to give him time to remove the players and bring in his own. And that could take 2 to 3 years, coach. So yeah, 2 to 3 years, I'm waiting. I'll hold you in 2025, 2026. We'll start talking about silverware, all of those things. Right now, we need to stabilize. That's my realization.
I'd be easy. And let me ask you a quick question. Do you reckon Thomas Tuchel has made a list of players that he wants gone?
Yeah, 100%. Of course, at this point, at this stage of the season, you should know who you want and who you want gone. Yes. At this stage, before season, yes, he does. And I believe that the likes of Ross Barkley, the likes of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, the likes of Alonso, Aspilicueta, those guys, Kennedy, Batshuayi, Michy Batshuayi.
We're not going to name names, guys, but we know the names.
You know what I mean? Those type of guys, I would understand that are on the not retained list, but who are going to pay those high wages? Who is going to go buy these players? With the best thing we can do is send these guys on loan with a loan fee.
But what I'm worried about is that how long are we going to take to sell these players? Because the transfer window is not a joke. It's not a joke.
So like I said, innit? So we are in a transition stage. So if we can't even get players in, what's the guarantee we're getting players out? So Thomas Tuchel may have to just work with what he has for another window or so he can build value with the players and just sort it out in January. Guys, let's wake up a small ego that's burning. It's a transition now. Thomas Tuchel has been forced to have players he doesn't, he can't, he can't work with for another year. He's gonna have to do what he does best and try and get the best out of them. Players are going at the same time. So it's we have to pray for better days and hope that this window just ends up with a few more signings, and we are not in the luxury. I know we have the money to spend, but we haven't got the manpower to dictate. So we cannot dictate who we want. We can't start saying, "Oh, I don't want this. I don't want." Hey,
Coach, you got a super chat.
I saw your comment. Let me quickly catch up with the chat. I want to say thank you to Carlton Bate for the super chat. I appreciate that. Again, let me see. He said his statement reads: Chelsea doesn't have the players for this kind of tactics. We're gonna need speed wingers like Robin, Alisson, Maxima, Mbappe, Saka, Vinicius. Amongst others, if they are to play the low block. Again, I get your argument there. Again, it's difficult to really say, to argue for Thomas Tuchel in most cases, because he, with the players he has, he could have just, changed the application or system if you prefer, or even the structure, the formation, if that's what you want to call it, to get the best out of the players. But in most cases, he's refused to do that. So I'm not gonna say it's his fault entirely. The players yesterday looked disinterested. First of all, we didn't see the spirit, especially Timo Werner. It's not just him alone. He looked like he doesn't want to be there. And so I don't blame Thomas Tuchel for calling out players who wanted to leave it. But that's, by the way, again, I appreciate the support and thank you so much. I will highlight that and I'll bring it up so that we'll discuss that in detail to see if if the problem goes beyond what you just talked about. I think it does go beyond that. But that's, by the way, I may have to scroll to the very bottom. And if I missed your comment, apologies. I saw a comment from True Blue where he says something. Okay, this is the one here. He says, I said time and again, we're not winning the league. That's for sure. That's actually the worst kept secret. It's there. When you look at it, again, no question. We'll be lucky if we're able to win even a single title this the coming season. We've lost 5. We'll be losing around 5-6 defenders. We'll be losing some midfielders in the attacking area. So all those things are they're problems on their own. So we're thinking we're saying we needed just 6 players. I think it's going to be nearly 10 players if we lose players and from that's in the attacking area, which is looking likely we're going to, because Timo doesn't look like he wants to be there anymore. Hakim Ziyech, for obvious reasons, wants to leave. So that adds to the number. But that's, by the way, again, just Viola says, like the stream. Please keep liking the video. We have 240 people watching, and we have just 52 likes. If you haven't, please keep liking the video. We're shooting for 300 likes today. Again, here we have a few players must be parted with. That's the truth. Again, Leon here says, True Blue, top 4 and the cup is our best for this coming season. Too much work to be done in the squad. Too much work indeed. But the truth remains, there's a chance we may not even win a single trophy. I'd be okay.
I'm okay with that.
With us making it into top 4. I'd be okay with that. And the truth, again, I don't know how to phrase it. We should learn to manage our expectations for the coming season. You don't make too many changes in a team and expect to be at your best. New players coming together, they need time to gel and start performing as a unit. They need time to gel and start playing as a unit. So again, we must take that into consideration when we talk about how well we expected the team to do this coming season. But that's, by the way, IBZ, I'm going to come to you. This is a question we tried to answer during the pregame show. The question is, although we've talked about it, I've alluded to it a bit. The question is, how important, this win, how important is it going to be to Arsenal going into the coming season, especially when they play against us home and away? Because that's how many games in a row now, except under Thomas Tuchel. We beat them 2-0 at home, but after that, we've not been able to do well against them. And that's a one-off for 3 years now, or 2.5 years, you could say. That's a one-off. Go ahead.
100%. The days, I think the last hoorah of us owning Arsenal, the last hoorah was Antonio Conte, of us actually owning Arsenal. And whenever Arsenal come, they already know it's an L. I think Antonio Conte held it. They gave it the last one. Even, I think they knocked us out of the FA Cup under him as well. What I'm saying is that this now shifts the mentality. You see the mentality Arsenal used to have before when they used to play us. That has gone because personnel has left, manager has changed, regime has changed. So now this new Arsenal are fearless. You know what I'm trying to say to you? They've been through adversity with nothing to lose. So when they come against opposition like us, in terms of when we were on a form and Lampard went to the Emirates and capitulated 3-0, I was absolutely furious because this team deserved. How did this team deserve to win? How Saka scoring goals like that from where? How are we not scoring? So Arsenal shifted.
And we always see the best of Saka whenever he plays Chelsea.
Listen, and you know what? I'm not even gonna be mad because at the end of the day, when 2 people come to the show, if one performs, you gotta put your hands up and say, you know what? He performed, and they always do. You know what I'm trying to say to you? I banter my cousin. I'll still get onto my cousin. I have arguments with my friends about the match, but I have to hold my hand up. And with this Arsenal momentum, after this 4-0, it galvanizes them. Now they know they're here now. We've conceded 8 goals in the last 2 matches we played Arsenal, guys. We've conceded 8 goals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's not forget that.
So now what that does is stick a mentality in your match, in your mindset. forget it's pre-season, forget it's competitive, forget it's Champions League, forget it's World Cup. You play a team, yeah, and the last match you got knocked like 6-something. This match you're getting knocked like 4-something. Bro, the next time you're gonna meet, that's still gonna be in your mind. It's still gonna be in your mind. So what that has done, that's left a psychological imprint in both Chelsea and Arsenal's mind. The latter being more galvanized and having more momentum to do the dirty. And that is Arsenal. So when Arsenal buck us now, they're gonna be like, yeah, we smashed them 4-0. And it wasn't just like a 4, it was a complete performance. And everyone's saying pre-season, well, they prepared, pre-season, they showed quality. We just didn't show enough quality. That's why we can just say, yeah, it's just pre-season and give that as an excuse for the lack of quality. So what, were Arsenal doing the most then? Were Arsenal just doing the most because there's no pressure and it's a pre-season friendly? No, they were just prepared, and this is how they will probably start. And if we look at how we'll probably start, we're not ready. So yeah, Arsenal, that has gassed them up. That Gabriel Jesus, his lob against Mendy, they've seen a striker. They're seeing it like what? Like they can't believe it. Zinchenko just playing in midfield. Partey eating everything up in midfield like it's Fufu and Kenke. Just eating everything up in midfield. Go past who? You know what I mean? And Odegaard, it was just a complete performance. So Arsenal now, I said it last year, are they our new bogey team? Now it's when we see Arsenal, we have to put our guard up like it's 2003 again, like it's 2002 again, like it's 2004 again. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, it's Arsenal's back, 100%. The Arsenal fan base, the Arsenal enthusiasm. I'm around a lot of Arsenal people. They are back. They feel back now. Obviously, Arteta has his own pressures. They're not giving up. This is his final because he's now been signed. But with what they've seen, the preparation, Arsenal, don't be surprised if Arsenal do the double on us. Don't be surprised if we only get 1 point out of all our London derbies.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about rivalry, the London rivalry and the derby jinx. It's usually difficult to break. And before you're able to break it, I think we'll be lucky if we make enough changes in the team, in the midfield area and the attacking area. Maybe we'll get players with a much better mentality to help us break that jinx. Because sometimes it is Arsenal, sometimes it is Tottenham. It rotates. But the players we have right now, I don't see them. They don't have a derby mentality. It's that simple. Because when we see Tottenham, we've done quite well against Tottenham. But against Arsenal, what has happened? And the worst, like I'm going to repeat myself again, even if Arsenal have lost 1 million games, once it gets to Chelsea, you see the best performance. You see them be at their best in that particular season. It happened last year. It happened the last 2 years. And there's a chance it happened again. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do a double against us this coming season.
Sorry to cut you off, Coach.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, Coach. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the elephant in the room is obviously that they have a former Arsenal player, a former Arsenal captain as their manager. So he epitomizes, if anything, what he understands to be Arsenal versus Chelsea. He's probably lost how many Arsenal-Chelsea matches? You know what I'm trying to say to you? So he understands the rivalry. He understands what it means to beat Chelsea. It's ingrained in his mentality as a player from what he's seen with Wenger, from what he was around him. Now he's the manager and he knows what adversity he suffered. Are you telling me it's like when you grow up, yeah? When you're growing up as a person, yeah, and you suffer in this life, or you went through hardship in this life, and you're now successful, you now have a child, you now tell your child about the life that you used to suffer, that this life is not easy, like you have to grasp it with 2 hands. This is the same thing. Arteta will tell his Arsenal boys, listen, this is Arsenal Chelsea. Listen, you go out there and you play for that badge. You show them that London is red. You show them that we are the Gunners. Are you telling me you're telling young boys this, young boys who have their futures ahead? Oh my God, we need to know the importance of the London rivalries, and that needs to be imperative. And Tuchel needs to get that ASAP, quickly, as soon as possible, ASAP.
most of our players are not even English. I think that's
Yeah, you guys should go ahead. You guys should go ahead with the conversation. I'll join you back in just 3 minutes. Let me take care of something.
That's one of the things is that
I heard that.
Havertz, Werner,
Not really,
Kounde,
not really.
Kovacic,
I'm not having
a
that.
lot
I'm
of
not
these
having that.
players are just imports.
I'm not having that.
Jorginho,
No, listen,
none of them
No.
are.
Well, let me finish
even
this,
English. None of them are even English. So therefore, they don't have the same kind of spirit and fight that you do. You know,
no. You're not wrong.
These are all hired guns, and that's just the Abramovich era. You know, he decided to get all these players from the outside. You know, we're more and more becoming like PSG, where you know the players are not. I mean, other than Mount and James, none of these players are homegrown. They're all from somewhere else. They're from other countries, and therefore you're not going to see that kind of fire for this Arsenal derby because they don't have that kind of stake in it. I mean,
here's the thing. I'll do otherwise.
Exactly. I disagree because at the end of the day, the core players that are needed in that squad, who have sole responsibility, know the importance. Even still now, with more players coming back, they know the importance of this derby. I'm so sorry. Even still,
if they did, they would have played a little bit harder today. I mean, like Ziyech, like
no.
Werner,
They didn't rise up to it.
Like who gave an effort today? Nobody, because they're not.
No one gave it.
They're not even English. So they
all
don't.
Right. Let me try and catch up with the chat quickly. But I must say this: I think it doesn't necessarily come down to the origin of the players.
Facts.
I think maybe the Arteta comment. It's a prime example. So I'm going to try and catch up with the chat, but I'll come back to the panel. We'll move on to the next topic. But again, all the contributions from the panelists make sense. The facts, some of them are not English. Maybe they don't understand the importance, of a derby, match. Some probably because Arteta is there, he gets to make the players to understand the importance of, even when we're losing, this is one game we cannot lose. Maybe that has been the case. And this is Joseph Inani says, joining from Namibia, I am in a pool of tears. TT must act very soon. 4-0 game showed that he needs to sign a super finisher. CR7 was just good with us forward. TT must add a finisher. Again, it's not as simple as adding a finisher. You must find one that will, easily adapt to the way the manager likes to approach the game. I've said that, talked about that a zillion times. I don't want to go into it. Prince Moha says, we are Chelsea. We don't want a Man U sort of thing. We don't. Again, Chelsea's strategy in this window is wrong. Bidding high and killing the market. I don't understand what you're saying. Have we bid anywhere high as we should? I don't think we have. We're actually trying to get them on the cheap, like it's in a flea market. If you ask me, that has been the issue. The Sun online saying Kounde off to Barca 2 hours ago. Other sources say opposite. There's still no clarity. There's no clarity. That's just the truth. Some say he's on his way to Chelsea. Some say he's on his way to Barcelona. Again, we should pay attention to what, again, at this point, we should pay attention to what Sevilla, which is the club, his current club, what they are saying is what will give you, a considerable measure of clarity on what's going on. At this point, they're still saying they haven't received any official bid from Barcelona. Again, the good thing, how this differs, I'm not saying it's a good thing, from the Rafinha story, is that the player is talking to both clubs, but I don't want to go into that right now. We're talking about the game. We'll go back to transfer once we're done talking about the game. Look, City and Liverpool, we know who play in every position. The problem with us is we don't even know who is the starter and who is the backup. Again, every player in a team like Chelsea deserves to start. The question is, I think, what I'd like to talk about is players being played out of positions. Do I see that as a big problem? No. I still believe that players should be able to play wherever you're asked to play. You should be able to adapt to the manager's, approach to the game. But that's an argument for a different day. Timo has to go. Again, most people think so. And Born Blue, again, if this is your first time here, please be sure to subscribe to not miss our subsequent shows. Again, we have 234 people watching, and we have 63 likes. We're shooting for 300 likes today, and we know we can get there. So please keep liking the video. Kuchila, the big problem first is formation. Some people see it like that, and again, the argument for formation is if we play 3 at the back, we will play wingers as inside forwards, and in most cases they've faltered when that has happened. They haven't been at the best whenever they played as inside forwards, whereas the wingers play take up the spaces, or when we play traditional wingers where they should play, the wing backs take up those positions. Again, it's a difficult one to talk about right now. One thing I'm happy the transfer window is open, is this is the opportunity to get the players in that the manager says he prefers to have in his team. And then after that, if he doesn't perform, maybe next season, then the jury will be out for him. Chelsea failed to sign Jesus because he wanted to play for Arsenal. That's not TT's fault. That's the truth. He didn't want to come to us. If a player wants another move, you cannot force them. Al Thompson, I think that's an important comment because I heard we wanted them. And we argued here on Chelsea Perspective that Gabriel Jesus would be a perfect Thomas Tuchel striker. But probably because of that relationship he's had with Mikel Arteta, who worked under Pep Guardiola, it was easy for him to convince him. But my hope is that it turns out like the case of William, whom Mikel Arteta convinced to join Arsenal, and they will win the Champions League together. That's not me hating on the player. The player is a good player. But again, Kuchila, there's no update from Fabrizio Romano regarding Kounde. Thank you very much for that. Please stop it. Many players have made bad passes today. A lot. It wasn't one. It was that is where a lot of mistakes. Lots of Again, even Sterling turn around and give the ball to Ben White. You're just picking out Werner up because you're tired of him. Again, here's what the argument I've heard about Werner. Is he a good player? Yes, he's a good player. Since Thomas Tuchel has refused to play him how he'd get the best out of him, the best thing for the player will be to leave the club, and also it will be good for all parties involved. If he leaves, the club gets the chance to bring in a player that the manager prefers, likes, and would prefer to have in his team. It's as simple as that. That doesn't mean Timo is a bad player. And again, in the Premier League, his struggles will continue because Timo operates with space. He needs the ball in behind the defender so he can beat them with the space. And by the time they catch up with him, he's done some damage. Is he good one-on-one? Yeah, but that's not his best, strongest suit. In most cases, he practically gives the ball away to the opposition. But that overall doesn't say Timo is a bad player. But my argument is it's best he leaves the club, go to a place where he will find the spaces all the time, and he will be played as a second striker. Because the best of Timo was seen when he played as a second striker. Excuse me. And we haven't done that consistently at Chelsea Football Club. Again, should we get Hazard back? Let me highlight this. It's worth discussing, but we're not going to talk about it right now. Is it true that Barca are close to signing Marcos Alonso? Yeah, we're hearing that. Again, that brings me back to the question, what in the world did Todd Boehly travel to do at Spain? What sort of conversation did they have there? What are we getting out of it? Is it just losing all our targets to them? But it's too early. There's still time. We could still get Kounde and also get De Jong. Then we'll say, oh, maybe it was a good conversation. So let me just become a bit. Carlton Bates says Werner is a victim of bad bias. Some people just, critique him, that is, they don't critique him objectively. They just jump to the conclusions he's a bad player. So I agree with that one. Again, let me see if there's any internet. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom so that I can bring in the panelists to give us their opinion. And sorry if I missed your comment. And again, thank you for this contribution here. I sincerely do appreciate that. And more importantly, welcome to the channel. In Life No Limits, the Tuchel has been given valuable game time to players who are not even going to be in the squad. Why? See Conte, see Xavi. Again, there's a chance he doesn't want to show his hands, but that's an argument that I myself would argue doesn't really make sense. But that's by the way. I watched the game this morning. It was like the players had been smoking with Chelsea defeat was due to the players not playing together and the defense being poor. I sincerely do not understand that argument, but that's by the way anyway. Friendlies are just glorified training matches if you want to see, but not one we play against a London rival, Arsenal. I see it differently. For the first month of the transfer window, we did nothing. At one point, CFC and Leicester were the only teams with no transfers. We're now out of time, and that's nothing. But again, this is not the first time that we go into the season proper without getting in all the players we want. I think we're more desperate this time. I think the fear is there given the performance of the team and all that. This isn't the first time we're going to the season without bringing in all the players we want, which was just live, coach, and had 400 watching of rattled Barcelona fans. Love to see Barcelona getting upset that Kounde is a blue. Yeah, I saw your thumbnail. I knew it was going to be fire. And here's the thing, Barcelona fans, whenever you talk about Jules Kounde, you get a lot of thumbs down from them, a lot of dislike from the Barcelona fans. Yeah, that's huge. Congratulations to you, bro. That's huge. And again, if you haven't, take a second to go check out Matt's YouTube channel and be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. Tuchel and the players aren't the problem. The problem was Lukaku. We're not talking about Lukaku right now. We're never going to do that. Please don't do that. These players wanting to leave are still not good enough. Again, the players, I wouldn't blame the players for the issues we've had. There are a couple of factors that's contributed to the way we're performing. So, Phantom, I'm going to come to you before we start talking about individual players. I want to get your opinion on how you think this. Do you think the result of that game yesterday, that woeful performance, that humiliating defeat by Arsenal in the US, in Florida to be specific, do you think it will, it gives them the psychological or, mental edge
of course,
going into the season?
Of course it does. Remember when AFTV was falling apart, there was a few of them going like, well, give Mikel Arteta some time, trust the process. Mikel Arteta has done a fabulous job last year. And we'll get to see that on Prime Video soon, right? Because they did their entire season on camera, right? Just like remember when Tottenham did that a few seasons ago, and then before that, Man City.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see Arsenal's last season, and I think Mikel Arteta did a fabulous job last year. They were 6 points behind us. Tottenham was 3 points behind us, something like that. So this is going to be a very close 3, 4, 5. We could be fifth. We could be as low as sixth. I mean, if Manchester United improves, right? So we could be anywhere from 3 to 6. I don't see any higher than that. I think Liverpool and Man City are still in a class of their own right now, and it's just unfortunate that we gave them this mental boost. Now they're not going to be afraid of us in the regular season. In fact, they might even come in overconfident on some of those games. So, but I did see, I liked what I saw in Raheem Sterling. He had a lot of energy today, and so did
Kounde. Yeah, but a tree cannot make a forest. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, there's certain players that do have to go now. I mean, I was, like I said, when Werner came in, I was a big supporter of him. When Lukaku came in, I was a big supporter of him. And when Ziyech came in, I was a big supporter of him as well. But, it's the players that are not working out, we really need to just unload them. If we need to take a loss, then so be it. There are a lot of Bundesliga teams that need a striker right now, starting with Dortmund. So, Timo, bye-bye, and Ziyech, bye. So, and then we can create some room for some other people we might be able to bring in, and
yeah.
And
by the way, go ahead.
I want to see Pulisic and Sterling, how well they work together now, because we haven't yet seen that yet. So we need to see how they work together. And as far as the midfield is concerned, Conor Gallagher, you're right. He's not a 6. He was kind of, I don't know, all over
And that's an argument. That's a discussion we had even before he came back from Crystal Palace.
It doesn't have to be Rice, but we do need to go get a defensive midfielder, I think. Like I said, it doesn't have to be Rice, but we have to get someone of that mold, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, I do think so. Honestly, I do think so. Again, but I don't think he's a 6, and I will never change that conversation. Again, no matter how you try to convert him to one, it only, you could say it will dwarf his development as a player. He's in nowhere near being a 6. Yes, he's able to, put in a strong tackles in most cases and then get the ball, but he can't read the game well enough to be a 6. I think you could argue that's the primary, the primary ability of you to be a good 6. But that's, by the way, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat before it becomes too big. But at the point I will scroll to the very bottom as we start to talk about individual players. It would take 2 years to get all the players at Chelsea want. That is simply the truth. Again, being drastic, which means some of the buys will be panic buys. If you really want to get in quality players, you'd be strategic about it. You'd not be in a rush about it to get in all the players you want. Again, Chelsea need about 4 quality defenders and 4 strikers. If the team is like these, they cannot compete in the Premier League, and they have to spend at this time. That's the truth. But I think we've agreed we have to spend. But the truth is, it's not that simple getting in the players we want. Can I come to the screen? You have to reach out through Twitter, and then I ID you, and then I'll send you the link. I'm not going to send in the link here in the chat. I'm sorry about that. And Kimso says, now Arsenal will think they are better. No, they're better right now. At this point, they're better. But in recent years, overall record shows were better if you're going to take it that back.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No, in recent years,
No,
they've
it
won
hasn't.
and what they've won.
They have the record is in the records are
No, not head-to-head tie. In terms of what we've won in recent years, we're better than them.
You can't compare that. You can't compare that because
get my argument first. Head-to-head.
I know you're saying that one place in the Champions League and they haven't qualified for the Champions League in a long time. So
and with more league titles in recent years than them, they haven't even come close to that. And how many times have they missed out on the Champions? That's from participating in the Champions League that we've been there. Those are there, but the truth is, right now they're better than us. But I get your argument. So Kimso, I'm sorry to see that. I know how you feel, and I know how much you love this club. It's a glorified training match. No, that's just an excuse. That's just you consoling yourself. I have to be honest with you. Right now, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom.
When do we start preparing for the season? The first game of the season?
Yeah, exactly. So Ty, let me come to you quickly. Before I go to Ty, we have 253 people watching, and we have 73 likes. Remember, guys, we're shooting for 300 likes by the end of the show. And by the way, the poll has 236 votes, and that surprises me. If we're able to get 236 votes and we're still at 73 likes, I don't know why that happens all the time. So please, if you took a second to participate in the poll, please take a second to also beef up the like count. It takes a second to like the video, and that helps us reach more people. Again, please keep liking the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Ty, I know I haven't asked you this question, but I'll start with IBZ because he made it to the panel before you did. IBZ, I want to get your thoughts on what you think happened, what went wrong, why the performance overall was shambolic. The whole team overall, even as a unit, looked disinterested. We didn't see derby mentality there. It's Arsenal. They played like they're well aware. It's a derby. Even no matter it doesn't matter where it's played. They played like they understood they were playing against a London rival. And the spirit. We didn't see that same spirit in our boys. What do you think went wrong?
Preparation.
Yeah, Showtime. Yes.
Preparation.
Sorry, IBC. I was asking Showtime. Apologies, bro.
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and by the way, my Showtime, go ahead, bro. Sorry, I was asking you.
Yeah. Sorry, so well. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching. Thank you for having me on, Coachella.
Mm.
What, man? Yesterday, I don't know. I guess I want to say Tuchel got it wrong. I'm gonna put this on Tuchel. I don't think the team was well prepared. I don't even think that the lineup that he brought out was very competitive. They showed no heart, no emotion. We're in. Look, we're in for a rude awakening. Not only us, the players, the coach, the ownership. We're in for a rude awakening. We left an empire in Roman Empire, which was the best empire we have had in Chelsea history for the past 20 years. And we get these new owners who talk so much, who is exposing all our strategy and bringing in players. Everything that we want is leaked to the media. When has Chelsea ever linked their players to the media? After the We don't do that. We're in the business of doing things behind closed doors and getting deals done. Todd Burley has talked so much. He's out in the media. He's showing his face. He's going to meetings with Barcelona, who's stealing our players. And then he's smiling, talking about we just had great dinner. Like, bro, what are you really doing? It's all trickling down from the Charlotte game to the Arsenal game. We showed no enthusiasm to play. I mean, are the players trying to get rid of Tuchel, or is it like something's going on behind closed doors that players are not happy and it's shown in performances? History is repeating itself. The same attackers that we have had is back. We brought in Raheem Sterling, and you get rid of a striker, a nine, to bring in Raheem Sterling to do what? We have attackers like Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Mason Mount, the one that everybody praises. Where was he last night? This is the same Mason Mount from last season. He shows up when he wants. He shows up against teams that have no pedigree, has no competition against us, and he performs against those guys. But then when it comes to like derbies or teams that are in the top six, he's nowhere to be found. And look, Tuchel needs to understand you playing Gallagher next to Jorginho in a sixth position is horrible. I don't care what nobody tells me. You can't play Jorginho and Gallagher in the double six pivot. You can't do that. Gallagher is supposed to play where Mason Mount plays in the attack. Nothing more, nothing less. You're hindering his ability to play football at the highest of his level when you put him in the midfield and you have him playing against alongside slow Italian boy Jorginho. It does not work. It's not gonna get us nowhere. We're not gonna go far. It's like we went from competing for top 1 and 2 in the league to competing for top 6. That's how the season has started. And I agree with what one of the panelists said. When are we supposed to prepare for the season? When week 1 comes in? This is where we were supposed to be ready to go into week 1. 4-0? We lost 4-0 yesterday. It's not like we even gave a fight. We showed no emotion. We showed no fight. Koulibaly came in for 15 minutes and he showed way more fight than that whole back line in the first half.
Facts.
We had brought in Azpilicueta, whose mind and body is already in Barcelona, and Tuchel's coming out in the media talking about he doesn't know if he wants to let him go, Tuchel, because he wants to go. Alonso, his legs are dead. He's not fit for the Premier League anymore. He has to go. What are we doing here where we keep it? People complain dead wood. I'm tired of Timo Werner, but that's not the problem anymore. Azpilicueta is a problem. Alonso is a problem. Not having wingback cover is a problem. At first, everybody in the media talking about, oh, Tuchel doesn't want Kounde anymore. We're going to prioritize Kimpembe. We're going to Koulibaly. Now, all of a sudden, Tuchel wants Kounde now. When Nathan Ake is not coming in, now you can't do that. Well, now we playing second fiddle to Kounde because now he want to play games with us because, oh, Barcelona wants to come get me. How are we expected to compete for the league and win trophies without players that we need. This game yesterday just proved that we're not ready. And I don't want to hear, oh, this is Marina's fault, this is Roman's fault. This is not, it has nothing to do with that, because for the past couple of seasons, these guys have been here and we've been competing.
Yeah, so overall, yeah, I understand your argument. And I want to quickly touch up again about the mentioning of Marina. I was having a conversation with somebody, and surprisingly to me, the conversation stretched to Marina being the cause of the whole issue. You understand? And again, it's a Chelsea fan base, always looking for someone to blame.
Coach.
And in this case, I must say I was surprised. I couldn't believe how Chelsea losing 4-0 to Arsenal led to Marina being the cause of the problem. And also, again, if you look at it, this is actually the same squad that won us the Club World Cup, won us the Super Cup, and won us the UEFA Champions League. But that's not me saying we should keep them.
No, I disagree, because we're missing Rudiger and we're missing AC.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, but that's not too much change. I'm just saying that you're talking about just two players for now.
Of course, it's
but
changed.
My argument
of course,
is
it's changed. Of course, it's changed.
It's changed, but it's not listening to my argument. So, Ty, are you also arguing that the loss is, it's due to Marina's,
But it's not. I did not say that. You're saying that.
That's why you have to let me calm down first. My point is
you
this:
said something about
during the
Rudiger and
conversation. It's still the same thing. Losing it's practically the same thing. We haven't lost too many of them. We haven't lost too many of the players that won us.
We lost Rudiger. Sorry, coach. We lost Rudiger and Christensen. Inside the carbon facility, they knew that they were gone way before. Remember, Rudiger said he was gone.
The point I wanted to make is this: it's still nearly the same thing. The attacking area is still the same thing. The midfield is still the same thing, except for the defensive area where we lost those two players. And if you look at the games who actually won up to the Champions League, you could argue how many of them did Andreas Christensen play? But my point is, it doesn't really make sense. And I'm saying the same thing in the chat too. By the time people start mentioning Marina's name unnecessarily, it just doesn't make sense.
Thank you.
You get my argument, Ty.
Thank you. It doesn't.
I'm not talking about Marina. I was saying something, but you didn't listen to what I was saying.
You go ahead to what you were saying, brother.
Was it Phantom who said that? No, he disagrees because Rudiger and AC is not there.
Giroud
because listen, you're saying that it's not much change. Rudiger, don't forget.
Yeah,
Rudiger made 2 tackles in that game, the Champions League game, for example, that prevented us from conceding. Reece James. He was the one that stopped Sterling from going on, because after Edison made that pass to him. There is a different team. It's not the same team that won us the Champions League. It's not the same team.
No, it ain't.
How big of a difference, Ty?
Rudiger being there is a complete difference. You're telling me that.
I agree with you.
Exactly,
on that, Ty. But let's bring it to my argument. Would you now come out and say we lost 4? That is, start talking about how we lost 4-0 to Arsenal, and then straight to how it was Marina's fault.
We lost 4-0 because we played a back 4 with incompetent players. That's the reason.
Maybe that's the easier way for me to present my argument for you to understand where I'm going to.
It's as simple as that. We played with an incompetent team. Gallagher playing as a 6 is stupid. He's not a defensive player. He's an offensive player, and he proved it at Crystal Palace. He proved it at West Brom. He proved it at Swansea. He proved it at Charlton.
And here's why I had to bring up the Marina argument, because I'm seeing it in the chart, and it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to start blaming the former board for the way. Again, when I heard that argument, I was, what is going on here? We're talking about a loss. Focus on the issue we have, and not just try to blame the former board. And again, it's just, but that's why I'm going to stop talking about it. But Ty, coming to you, go ahead with telling us why you think we lost that game, because you haven't spoken about it. And again, you remember, Ty, I do believe you were part of the shows where we, on multiple of occasions, talked about the fear that the Tuchel is looking to play Gallagher as a number 6, and it looks
Yes.
like that's
And
what
I
he's
said
doing
that,
right
and
now.
I said that in the pre-game show. I said I'm saying because we used the formation 4-3-3, but that was definitely not what happened. It looks like we indeed use a 4-2-2-2 with although I don't even know if that's what we did, because I saw Sterling playing like a wing back, or probably was a 4-4-2. He was very wide, he was deep, so I don't even know if that was the case. We played Gallagher. If you don't experiment with players that are not competent in a four. Every time we played a four in the latter stages of the season, in terms of switching it in game, we conceded. We conceded against Wolves. We conceded against Leicester City, and it's I don't understand why move away from up. Yes, people say that the back three is an issue. It limits our attack, whatever. We have more balance in it because you have more defenders to formulate a five. So that it allows the midfield to be better. Jorginho coming down deep. That was once and twice. I can remember in the early stages of that game where we had a corner kick. Everybody was high up the pitch. It was Gallagher and Mendy left, and it was a 3v1. That is not so you can do. You're playing a four, and it just reminded me of the Lampard days where we were playing a 1-6-2 formation. We have one player back, and in most cases that would be Kounde, and then Kounde would have to try to do it by himself. You cannot be using a formation when you don't have the players. It makes no sense. You might as well stick with a back three where you're able to have more defensive strength and you have more balance in the team. You cannot be playing Chalobah, who has mistakes in him, alongside a Silva. This is not FIFA. It's not FIFA. You can't just expect that you play Silva and beside Chalobah and he's going to do good like that. That's not realistic. James is not off.
Even Chalobah playing centrally in the first place. I think that's what you're explaining right now. He hasn't. He does. I think he looked confused.
Yes, that's the thing. That's the thing. And then playing Reece James. So Reece James himself, he doesn't look like he's prepared. He looks off it. All the players look off it. They look like they've been on holiday and I don't know, man. I don't think they're taking preseason seriously. They don't. They look disinterested. They look as if, American tour. We're in the US. Oh, I love it. We're going from Las Vegas, LA, Orlando.
And like Oaks say, the playing table tennis.
Yes, man. We're not taking it seriously. It looks like we're just taking it as a joke. And like I said, people like, it's Arsenal. That's the point. It's Arsenal. You cannot be getting obliterated, being outplayed by a team that you and Tuchel said it. We got outplayed by a team that's not even playing the Champions League. And I have to say this, and I kept saying this. Spurs and Arsenal look more ready than us. And Arsenal have not made many signings per se that really blusters their squad in terms of the first team. Yes, they made a couple of young signings. They signed Zinchenko, Jesus. They've signed other players, and they have other players coming back from loan, like Saliba, who's had a great loan and things like that. We don't have a team, and we wasted so many times trying to get other players in when they were playing with our emotions. They were practically proving that they don't want to come to the club. We wasted too much time. And then the next thing is, you cannot be playing Gallagher as a 6. The fact that Gallagher was playing as a 6, that is the red flag. Like I said, he is an offensive player. He's not a defensive player, and you playing him out of position, playing him deep is foolish. It looks like Mason Mount played as an 8.
That's not going to help his development either.
Exactly, because he's better when getting into the box, scoring goals, creating chances. That is his job. That is what he's good at, and that is why I'm saying that if you cannot be experimenting with a player who is supposed to be playing, and I think Showtime said it, in the position that Mason Mount he's being played in, because he is more of that player, not a 6. Fine, if we don't have players who are ready to play full 90, you play a team and then you rotate. You take off players. I would have felt fine if he played Ampadu as a 6, because that's the position that Ampadu can play in. Because fine, I can understand that. And if he failed, then fine, he tried something. But playing Gallagher as a 6, playing Jorginho, who who does not have who Jorginho, and I've said this in the past. Jorginho, if Jorginho does not have like a Kovacic, because we saw what happened when Kovacic came on. There was more balance in the midfield, but we got outplayed because we looked disinterested. Arsenal were playing like prime Brazil. They were moving the ball with fluidity. They had pace. They had plans. You can see that they had an outline. We just looked like we were just going on the pitch, hoping that Sterling would do something, hoping that we'd have many saving shots. Silva would be good enough. We cannot be doing this. And I have to say, Arsenal and Spurs look more like they're going to get top 4, and they look ready. We don't look ready. We're not taking this seriously. And fans have accepted this mediocrity type of mentality that, let's just fight for top 4. Yes, we have to fight for it now. But at the same time, you can't be just sticking me and saying that, this is an achievement. And this is down to the fact that we had a transfer ban a couple seasons ago. We had to use youth players. So now we're accepting top 4 as a trophy. It's not a trophy. You're supposed to be progressing. It cannot be that we're going forward, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 3rd. It can't be like that. It's that's accepting mediocrity, and without backing the manager and without getting in players that he wants, and fine, that's one of the reasons why we didn't get other players in, because we were trying to get the players that he wants, and then they did not want to come. We persisted with trying for 2 weeks to get them, and then in that space of the time we could have gotten a midfielder in, which is necessary in order for us to continuously not have this 1v1 within the defense where you have the team slicing through us like we're bread. This is the issue that we have. We keep having a team where we're playing a back 4. We don't have the players that will let it work with fluidity and with balance, and we're trying to isolate or abandon a back 3 system when the back 3 system is where we've had the best. Yep. The issue is, without having actually players in, because we have wingers, we don't have AMs. None of the players that we have are AMs. Mason Mount is a centre midfielder. Gallagher is you can consider him an AM, but he's actually a centre midfielder. A centre midfielder does not automatically mean that you're defensive, because Lampard was a centre mid. He was an 8, and his game was not about defending; it was about goal scoring. And that's why he made a name of himself for, because eventually he became our top goal scorer and became a legend because of how creative he was and how much he added to the offensive side. He was not a defensive person, and that is why you cannot be expecting somebody in a similar trade like Gallagher, who offers that same thing that Lampard did, and expect him to play as a 6. It's stupid, and that is why Crystal Palace, the first game that he played, he was playing as a 6. Vieira realized that couldn't work. He played him higher, and that's how they got the best out of him. You don't need to be a manager to understand that Gallagher is not a 6. But until the day Tuchel uses his common sense and realize that he's not a 6, then we're gonna always have this issue. We're gonna always have it. So
he will struggle. He will continue to struggle.
And that's not it. You paired him alongside Jorginho. That's another problem.
It just doesn't make sense. And Ty, if you remember during the pre-gun show, I asked the question, specifically to Tobago, do you think we'll be able to deal with the Arsenal midfield? And he says he's not concerned.
Yes,
and that game was won from the midfield. Yeah, because we talked about it during the pre-game show. Everything starts from that midfield, and that was exactly what happened. Let me try and see how much comment I can take from the chat. I'll come back, get your final thoughts on what you think happened. Then we'll go to rating the players straight ahead. Again, thank you for 303 people watching. I cannot thank you guys enough. Again, we have just 93. We have 93 likes. We're shooting for 300 likes by the end of the show. I know we can get there. So please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. Again, I know we can do that because look at the poll we have here. The poll we have 335 votes, and that takes a second also to participate in. So if we can get 335 votes in the poll, we can as well get 300 likes for the show. So again, if you haven't, take a second to like the video. And again, like I've asked you, you don't have to donate your hard-earned cash. You being watching the show, being part of the conversation, even when you're not commenting, those things do go along with. So thank you. I cannot thank you guys enough for 105 likes right now. We're shooting for 300 likes, so we're getting halfway to our target. Quickly, Michael Ebuka, one day here, my Niger brother, says the fault is from both Tuchel and players. Why holding back players that want to leave? We need to act faster before it gets too late. How is Marina, the cost of our poor performance? That's what I don't understand. But again, you can say it was because emotions were high. People, which is, it was easy for people like, find what they believe is a problem, is the cause of that woeful performance against Arsenal last night. But that's by the way. But in terms of, moving on players, it's not that simple. Most of them are on a very high wage. And that you could argue, no club wants to pay that high wage on a player they haven't seen perform consistently where they were on loan or at the club or something like that. So it's not that simple. Again, AC replaced by Chalobah. Silva played again. Again, Chelsea's system is a problem. May work in knockout competitions, but not in the Premier League. Or why they did it? Ken, that's your argument. Let me see if there's something else to address here. I'm just going to skip. Let me just skip to the very bottom of the conversation, because if I try to read everything we have here, I'd continue reading till the end of the day and will not be done. Again, thank you again, people. Keep liking the video. Keep liking, share on whatever social media platform where you have presence to help us reach more people. So thank you again. I'm going to come back to the panel, and Jules, I'm going to come to you. Any final thoughts on the overall performance before we go to the ratings?
Hold on.
I feel that Koulibaly.
Yeah, it's just 1 second. Phantom, you wanted to say something. And by the way, Phantom, Jules, please don't be mad at me. I'm sorry. By the way, pardon my bad manners. I hope you're feeling better today.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm on my way out the door. So if you just let me say a few things and then.
Yeah. Go ahead. But first of all, I hope you're doing better.
Right. I understand in the early games of the preseason, okay, we needed to give Michy Batshuayi a chance because Tuchel needed to prove that we should give everybody a chance. At this point, Michy Batshuayi has proved that he is not good enough for Chelsea. So at this point, the next preseason game against Italy, I do not want to see him at all. In fact, I want to see a starting 11 play most of the game, at least through 70, 80 minutes of the game, as if it was just a normal Premier League game that we don't sub out more than 5 people.
Yeah, stop the experiment.
Yeah, that's it. We got to treat this next game in Italy as if it's a real game. And if it doesn't, then it's Tuchel's fault. I mean, right now, we played the first half, we play 11, and then the second half, we play a different 11, and that's fine. But this has got to stop now because we just lost 4-0 against Arsenal. Hey, thank you.
And like IBZ mentioned, in 2 games in a row, we've conceded 8 goals.
Yeah, and like I said, right now we got to start taking things seriously. I'm not going to be available for the next 2 days because I got tomorrow. I'm got to go back to work again, and I got a 10 to 12 hour shift. So I won't be here for the next 2 or 3 days or so.
No problem. No problem, bro. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you for letting me on. Hey, thank you everybody on the panelist.
And before you leave, please go check out Phantom of Many Topics YouTube channel. Again, be sure to subscribe. Again, Phantom of Many Topics. Phantom, you go ahead, share the links to your channel so that people can go check it out. And again, more importantly, I am very happy that you're doing better. Again, that's good to hear. So thank you for finding time to join us here.
Yeah, they can just. I'm sorry, I don't have the link right now because I'm on the other computer. But if you just type in Phantom of Many Topics into your YouTube search, you'll be able to find me. I have 80 different videos you can watch on my trip to London this past January. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Phantom. See you later, and please keep getting better. So I'm going to come back to the panel. Anybody has any final thoughts before we move to rating the players? Please go ahead. This is your time.
I want to say something.
Yeah, I want to say something. as well.
Okay, IBC, go ahead. If you don't mind, because he hasn't spoken for a while.
Who, me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, listen, Koulibaly, and when Koulibaly came on yesterday, yeah, and Cover came on yesterday, yeah, you
That's
don't.
Jules, by the way, coach.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When Koulibaly and Cover came on the pitch, yeah, didn't you see a different play? That when they came on, they improved the team. Okay, so when you're talking about like the first teamers didn't play yesterday, But there's no time to make no excuses. There's no time to be doing that because we thought it's Arsenal, for God's sake. We can beat Arsenal, but is our second team is ready? No, they're not. And this is the issue. This is the issue that we're having. Okay, and our attack is piss poor. Yeah, so this is the issues we're gonna have. Yeah, if our attack's not ready to make these chances, yeah, and bury our chances, yeah, we're not gonna get nowhere. And that's the honest truth. Yeah. So that's my opinion. That's my opinion, isn't it?
Yeah, that was fine. Anybody else want to add something to that before I ask the next question?
Did Showtime want to say something? Because I think I got to know what Showtime was going to say.
Sorry, Ty.
You can go. You can go, Ty.
Say something.
You can go, Ty. You can go.
Yeah, Ty. He says go ahead, but Ty, I appreciate you being a gentleman again. Thank you for understanding. Go ahead, Ty. He says go ahead.
What Jules just said about the attack, it's compared to what for example Arsenal are doing, compared to what Spurs have been doing. Because yes, we've been finishing ahead of them in years, but you have to be honest and say that they have rotational players. We don't. When you look at it, we have starters, and then we have players that just make up the squad. Just to make up the squad number. That's what we have.
In other words, our depth is practically rubbish.
Yes, it's the depth that we have is just players just back up who just play only when the team other players are fatigued or they just need a rest. And when I saw Batshuayi coming on, it just showed me that this is how bad it's gotten. Havertz coming off for Batshuayi. Ziyech looks like his head is not here. His head looks like it's elsewhere. Like he looks like his head is all over the place. He wants to move away. Aspi looks like his head is already in Barcelona. And Tuchel saying that I don't know. He's our captain. You need to let go of sentiment. You can't be saying that yes, he was our captain and he gave us some excellent 9 years, but we need to move on now. He's getting older.
Yeah, if it's indicated he wants to leave, let him go.
Yeah, and I mean he's done enough at Chelsea to have that right to say that I want to choose my next club, because he's done enough. He was Mr. Consistent for 9 years, and then the last season he started to dip a bit. But we need to understand that this team needs, yes, there's deadwood. We have 15 deadwood
Who
players.
was doing that for 9 years again? Sorry, I missed that. Who was doing it?
Or rather,
for 9
8
years?
years. 8 years. Or rather, I don't know. He's
what player?
Aspi. He started to dip off.
Yeah.
Because he was Mr. Consistent, because he always gave 7 out of 10, and he never made a lot of mistakes that led to goals. But I mean, other than that, this team has 15 deadwood players. Some of them are not even in the squad. Kennedy's still there. Emerson is still there. You have you have Bakayoko, who we're still trying to decide his future. You have Baba Rahman still at the club. Castillo.
Sorry, just quickly. I thought what's his name wanted Bakayoko in Spain. What's his name? Gattuso. Yeah, what's the Italian coach? He's coaching a Spanish team right now. He wanted Bakayoko.
Valencia?
Yeah, I think. Who was that?
There's nothing has gone through with that. Those talks have stalled.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So you have Matt Miyazaga, who's still at the club. Well, Drinkwater eventually left on a free. Muzunga left. You have a lot of players that need to leave the club and go elsewhere. Emerson playing a game. I guess the plan was, and I thought it was this, to see if we should go for a left back, which I think we should have, even if Emerson was at the club, because I don't think Emerson has that defensive mind. He doesn't like to defend. We were playing a 4, and he was playing like he was a second left winger. He was leaving Silva by himself. He was leaving Chalobah by himself. James was the one sitting deep, and the only time that we look fine was when we switched to a back 3. I don't understand why we're trying to abandon a back 4 without having the players that have the versatility, who understand that you can't be playing too high, you can't be leaving too much space when you have an inexperienced player alongside an experienced player. And Silva is going to be 38 in September. You cannot be looking at this and say that because Silva has experience, we'll be fine. That is wishful thinking. He is a player who's getting older. He won't be playing every game. He shouldn't be playing every game because he's getting older, and fatigue affects players the older they get. You cannot be expecting him to do all the work by himself. The attack is I just don't know. Werner wants to leave. If he wants to leave, let him leave. Havertz, as much as I'm a big fan of Havertz needs to sharpen up. He's not clinical. His first touches looks poor. He's doing things. He's doing the ball way too easy. His physicality is very weak. He needs to work on his body strength. It's poor. And yes, he's not a 9. He's more of a supporting striker. But you cannot be playing the way that you did. You're losing the ball way too easily. Mason Mount is an 8 by position, but it appears that he's played all the positions for too long that he doesn't know how to play as an 8 anymore. He was running around like a headless chicken. Yeah, you have players who look as if they don't know what they're there to do. I just don't know. This squad is depleted. We have a lot of deadwood players. We've lost players that we over-relied on. So with their departures, we don't know what to do because we relied on them to bail us out when needs be. And now we're paying the long-term price because we did not invest in the squad. We did not look to offload players. And we need to just accept anything. Just if a club wants to give us a bag of crisps or a controller for a player, just accept it because we cannot get a profit. And this came out that players like Batshuayi, Barkley, Sarr, players like that are the wages right now is practically $500,000, and they're not doing anything for it. You cannot be having these players in the squad when they're not doing anything. And I don't know. Tuchel has a long job to do. He's been forced to be a scout, a sporting director, all with Todd Bowley, who has no experience in the business side of football, and know he's going to be put in the front and the center of the criticism because he doesn't know what he wants, and he's not a DM, and he's not a director, and all of this is going to continue because we're not going to get a sporting director until possibly January, and I don't know. This team, the board doesn't have that experience in football, and we're gonna have to pay the price, unfortunately. And we need to accept that we're gonna have to fight for top 4 because the players that we're looking at, I don't know if they're gonna be willing to join the team when other teams that have a promising project is there. I don't know. It really is unfortunate.
Yeah, but I think your argument, you ran your argument off very well by saying you don't know if players would want to join us. Given there are other teams that has better projects. Yes, Barcelona, they have financial issues, but they have a good project and they have a good squad. And you want to win. To some players, it's just more than yes, you could argue primarily it's about money because it's work. But at the end of the day, players want to win trophies too. If they can earn enough, and then and then I would let the trophies be the icing on the cake for them. They'd rather go to more promising projects. But right now, ours doesn't look promising. And the draw, you could argue, isn't that much what it was a year ago, a few years ago. I'm not sure why, again, but that's by the way. I'm going to try and catch up with the chat and then come back quickly with the next question. And I want to say thank you for 237 people watching. At one time, it was 300 plus. So if you haven't, please take a second to like the video. Remember, we're shooting for 300 likes. And if we have 406 votes in the poll, we should have nearly 300 likes right now. But then again, you do what you like, whatever you prioritize, how you prioritize your participation. It's up to you. But more importantly, thank you for participating. But I'm begging you, please help us reach 300 likes by the end of the show. Right now, it's 120 likes. And the poll which asks the loss against Arsenal, whose fault was it? 38% thinks it was it was Tuchel's fault, and 62% think that it was the players' fault. And I'm going to end that one because I'm going to ask one more question, and we go straight to rating the players. Our sentimental fans have forgotten what they want. Let's play for at the back. Let's play for at the back. Well, this is for at the back for you. Again, some would argue in most cases during the past season, when we played 4 at the back, we saw the best of the players we have on the pitch. But that's an argument for another day. Again, this is Fairboy, and he is the owner and sole presenter at the Fair Chelsea Analysis YouTube channel. Be sure to check it out whenever time allows. Again, let me see if there's anything else. Guys, it's best we make the mistake now and that is rectified before the start of the season. The problem is the season starts in just 2 weeks or so. And we have a very difficult game. Usually we found it difficult to beat Everton, in recent, you could say months or seasons, if you want to phrase it that way. But that's, by the way, they've lost a few players. Hopefully, I don't know how much of a change that will make. And I think the most important player they've lost there is Richarlison, who joined Tottenham. But that's, by the way, I think would do well by the time the season starts. But one thing I like about this comment is it's best, that these things happen now. We're able to see we have a problem, whether it's the manager's fault, whether it's the player's fault. We get to see it, and we still have, even if it is a week or 2 weeks, even if you have till the middle of the season or till a few games into the season to fix it. The good thing is that we're able to see we do have a problem, and again, we should plan on solving it. Again, I'm going to come back to the panel. The question I want to ask is this, and let me start with Jules and to IBZ, to Showtime, and then to Ty. Jules, the question I want to ask you, we saw the importance of having a defined defensive midfielder, although you could argue Kante naturally isn't a defensive midfielder, but he's able to fulfill that role because he can read the game very well. And which means he's always in the right place at the right time to break up opposition play. Now, Kante didn't travel because of his vaccination status. That's a problem. I'm not sure how many European countries has restrictions in place regarding the vaccination status of players. So that's a chance we have big problems when we have to travel to certain countries to play Champions League games. And then it will turn out that these are 2 players, they're not going to travel with us because of their vaccination status. We need another defensive midfielder. And yesterday we saw the importance of that.
We can't play a back 4 if we don't get a DM. Simple as. And a good attack. That's another thing that you have to.
So Dale's your thoughts. Now why are we? It doesn't look like the club, or it doesn't look like we're prioritizing signing a DM, or maybe they still plan on going in for Rice, who is able to fulfill that role. At one point, we were linked to Sangari, we were linked to Bissouma, who's also joined Tottenham. So your thoughts? What do you think overall?
I think that because we haven't got a DM, right? Tuchel's playing with these ideas, like he's tested the back 4 yesterday out for a reason, because he knows that we haven't got a DM, right? I don't know why the hell he would put Gallagher in the same position we saw the other day. You're forgetting this. We saw Gallagher in the same position the other day, right? And we all know that he's not DM, right? So you lot are telling me, right? You lot are telling me that if we go in this season without a DM, we can't see a back 4 ever again. Do you not want to see a back 4 ever again? That's my question. That's my question for you lot.
Yes, the thing. I want us to be able to switch up the formation.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
We can't do that with
now,
no versatile players.
Huh? What you say, TY?
We can't do that without having the competent players. These players we have Chalobah, who is still learning how to play at the highest level. And people don't know how many people want to accept this, but last year, even though he got an opportunity, he had a very poor loan.
Yeah.
He just came back and he did well in pre-season. We were not able to get Kounde. We didn't want to lose our squad, some level of squad depth.
There's a reason.
Hear
me out. There's a reason why Thomas Tuchel plays the back 3, right? And that's because of the players that we have, right? The players that we had before. You're telling me he's gonna still stay with the back 3 when he has his philosophy and his players? Okay, I don't see that happening. Yeah, I see a change when Thomas Tuchel gets his players, right? You lot may disagree because you know the arrogant talk of world-class managers, but that's not gonna come with this effect. I think he's playing with a back three for a reason.
Here's the thing. I must let you know this. I agree with you.
Yeah.
In terms of if he gets enough players capable of helping him switch up his approach to the game, he will do that. And he's hinted he's going to do that. I know some people will argue otherwise, but right now it just seems as if, there's that argument that we play with some of the best games we played last season were because we played for the back system, for the back formation. But I'd argue those games. I think the individuals I've spoken with who argue that. I think the argument comes down to they see the best of the players they prefer to see on the pitch, and they see the players in the position they prefer to see them. The question isn't really, seriously about the system or the structure whenever we play. But that's, by the way, again, I get your argument there. IBZ, you want to come in there? Okay, looks like IBZ is not close by. I'm gonna go to Showtime. When IBZ comes in, and I'll bring him in. Showtime, I want to get your thoughts because DJ mentioned that on Oak's channel yesterday. That's a Global Fans channel. Was it? I think it was on Global Fans channel, not his other channel. That we missed N'Golo Kante, and now Kante, we all know about his vaccination status, and he hasn't traveled because of that. So the question is, why aren't we prioritizing signing a defensive midfielder? It doesn't look like we're doing so because it's not. If Kante now, given his vaccination status, and it doesn't look like that would change anytime soon. And there's a chance we'll play in one European country or the other during the Champions League when the Champions League resumes, and then they will have restrictions or based on someone's the vaccination status of players, and we will not be going with him. And we've seen Gallagher is not a 6. We already know what's his name. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is not a 6, and it just looked as if every time. I don't know if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. It just seemed as if all the games that Ruben Loftus-Cheek has played as a number 6 for us, we've lost those games, drew those games, or ended up having a bad game. Yes, he's able to glide through the midfield. It looks good how he passes the ball, how he can dribble every now and then. But he lacks the primary ability that's required of anybody playing in that 6th position. He just can't read the game. But what I'm asking is this: we've learned the importance of us, having a defined number 6. Kante isn't really a defined number 6, but he's able to fulfill that role. What's going on? Why aren't we prioritizing, getting a number 6? All the players we've been linked to are all defenders. That at one point I started asking, what are we building? Are we replicating Fort Knox? So you go ahead.
Thank you. I'm hearing a lot of static. I don't know if everybody's on mute, but it's regarding your question. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this loud and proud. N'Golo Kante on one leg is still the best midfielder in the world. Whether he's holding, whether he's attacking, or whether he's a box-to-box, he's still the best midfielder in the world. And there's nobody that can argue otherwise, in my eyes. I'm going to say this. I'm going to reiterate this, though. We are in a rude awakening when it comes to signings because we have inexperienced owners. We have an inexperienced man at the helm of our transfer market. You let one of the best directors.
Let's not just go into who was let go or not. Let's go into the situation.
No, I'm getting to the situation. Mm-hmm. We have we have new owners, and we have an incompetent man who is leading the transfer market for us, in Todd Boehly. He has no experience in buying players, selling players. He has no experience in managing a team and building the best team in the world. He's new to this job, but you let two of the best profound people known for their dealings and negotiations walk out the door without helping through this market, which was stated that they would help for the transition phase, and you let them go early. When it comes to N'Golo Kante, Tuchel knows what he has in N'Golo Kante, but we also know that N'Golo Kante is getting older. The fact that we didn't prioritize bringing in Basuma, Tchouameni, Kuminga, so many midfielders out there that we could have brought in during the time at the opening of the market.
But if you're gonna argue that, remember we still had those people you're referring to that was let go at the helm of things then.
No, we were in a transition phase, right? We were sanctioned. We couldn't make no deals until the confirmation of Bowley. Bowley came in and Tchouameni was still on the market until after a week or so when Bowley came in, and everybody was like, oh, they had a pre-contract agreement with Tchouameni in Monaco already. Burley came in already. He look, we're slower.
And here's
than
one thing
usual.
I'd like to explain, Showtime. Since you are there, can you tell me again how you've come to the conclusions that Bowley is incompetent and all that? That's what I want to know since you are there.
You see it already. What has he done for us? He said, oh, Tuchel will have a $200 million budget to spend on bringing in players. We brought in 2 players for what? 31 million, and we brought another one for 40 something fee. How is that close to 200? You brought in players.
How are you conclude the transfer window? I think if anything, we're just
okay. I'm going to say this then. I'm going to say this. As of right now,
go ahead.
Okay. As of right now, he showed his hand. He has showed his hand. He's showing us how he is inexperienced and unable to fulfill what we need. You brought in 1 center back and you brought in an attacker. We were supposed to bring in 2 center backs, 2 wing backs, and get rid of the dead wood in the attack that we've had, and then bring in an attack. You prioritized bringing in Sterling, but you didn't offload the other workload that we had that was incompetent. I won't name them. You can already assume that. And then he brought what wing backs have we brought in? We only brought in 1 center back.
Can I come in?
You can.
Okay, now what I want to say is this. I think we should be careful how we jump to conclusions whether Bowley is incompetent or not. He came in, and no matter how you see it, no matter how you want to, approach this argument, we had restrictions in place which stopped us from talking to players and getting them to put pen to paper. We were able to talk with them, but we were not able to get them to put pen to paper, and that on its own, it's a serious drawback. Plus, our focus when others were busy talking to players was the survival of the club itself. We all went through that period, and then it was depressing. It was mentally draining. You phrase it how you want it, but it was still, again, if you ask me, I'd say we've done well so far. And for some reason, we don't know. I wouldn't say that we're fired. Maybe for some argument, no matter how bad or how well they've done, Petr Cech and Marina, they left the club because the argument is on their own free will. Because we saw the statements. They say that they promised that we're going to be available to help, to support. Again, even if they were the worst people to have at the club, to me, the only argument I will make is it just doesn't make sense to let them go at the critical moment, at the critical stage, or during the transfer window. At least we should have let them stay. If there's a disagreement between Bowley and them, sort it out. Let's go, ride it through the transfer window, then you let them go. But that's an argument for another day. They left, they've left. And Bowley, so far, if you ask me, I'd say he's done well.
Okay, listen, Coach, let me just say this. When the signing of Kounde, it would have been done with Marina still here.
No, there's no way to guarantee that.
He was going to be our first center back in, and then all of a sudden the news came out that wait. But then the news came out. Oh, Tuchel doesn't want Kounde. Tuchel doesn't want Kounde, so we prioritized what's his name? Nathan Ake. We prioritized Koulibaly. We could prioritize all these center backs. And then all of a sudden, now we come around full circle. Oh, now we make a bid for Kounde. We could have been signed him. So we was going to sign him last year. Sevilla played the games. We were going to sign him this open window when Mourinho was there. and then all of a sudden we pull it back and we go chasing somebody else. That's the problem. We're leading all of our signings out to the world, and now look, they're just stealing them under our nose. We don't
Here's
do
the thing
business
about the
like
licking
that.
aspect of this whole thing. Again, you're bringing in some great points that will help us educate our viewers. But I want to quickly let's move on from this so that I can bring in Bobby. Here's the thing about the licking of those things. The licking isn't usually from our end. In most cases, it is from the selling club. Even right now, there is this argument that Barcelona, that they are well acquainted with the structure of our offer to Sevilla, which they shouldn't. Yes, they should know that it's a certain amount of that, but the details they shouldn't know because it's not done yet. Those things come from the end of the selling club in most cases. And then again, these things, you can't hide them. Some do come from the agents of the players involved. So the leaking isn't the issue here. There's so much to it. If you look at the Rafinha case, he had an agreement with Barcelona since around January or February. So we're actually late entrant into it. That's, we were actually the ones that were trying to hijack the deal. But there are other aspects of that. When you talk about it, you see it isn't really about Bali being there at the helm of things. That's not the case. But again, I really want us to move on from this because we're going to be going.
I'm going to say this. Yeah. This is my last thing I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
If Bali wants to make me as a Chelsea fan happy, you will give N'Golo Kante an extension.
Yeah, that's you.
That's what I said for me. I said that. That's what I said. You give him an extension.
Thank you for kindly putting it there because it doesn't
you sell
come down
Jorginho,
to what you want.
It
comes down to what makes economic sense to the club. It comes down to what the manager wants also. It's not really about what the fans want. What the fans want is a result. And for the fans to get the result they desire, the manager has to get what the manager wants.
So you're pleased with the result of the last match?
How does that come into this argument right now?
It is going to come to it because you said it's what the fans want. The fans don't want to lose 4-0, don't we?
I'm not. There's no way to tell you I'm pleased.
Exactly. So then if we're not pleased, that shows that we got to be upset with the manager and we got to be upset with the ownership. That's how we're going to get what we want.
By the way, I get your argument, and we're all entitled to our arguments. That's why we're here, and there's always something to learn from for all of us here. Again, that's by the way, we have 265 people watching, and we have 135 likes. We're nearly halfway. Our target was shooting for 300 likes by the end of the show. So if you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But more importantly, I want to say thank you for always supporting this channel. And again, something I want to say here quickly, I'm going to do another giveaway, but you're only allowed to participate if you have a working PayPal account and you're sure. And the way we're going to be doing it right now is the moment you win it, before the show ends, you get your prize. I don't want it. There are certain situations that's going on right now. It makes me feel bad. Again, but I don't know how to explain that. We're planning a big giveaway due to how far we've come as a group. And thanks to you, the viewers, and thanks to you, to those of you who watch and also don't have the time to participate in the chat, you're well appreciated. By the way, my other system is working now, so it'd be easy to do some stuff that I've not been able to do for a while. Again, all people are realizing it's only now something I said a long time ago that we are sleepwalking into mediocrity. Again, that's a very good argument. Or 1 year, Adila says, if Chelsea doesn't get their act together quickly, even Manchester United may surpass us. That's a sign. There are signs that may well happen. But that's, by the way, there's so much comment. I'm not going to be able to read all of them because we don't have a studio engineer yet. That is in progress. And also, while I'm still at it, I'm announcing in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we'll be launching the sister channel that covers football for all clubs in the world and all countries, not just Chelsea. At the moment, I was about to bring on Bobby. He's left. Maybe he has a connection issue. Again, anybody else on the panel want to come in?
I want to say something because I haven't.
Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
Yes, and I mean, I think you said another DM. Did you say another DM or a DM?
Yeah, I said maybe we don't have one actually. So one more DM. You could argue. I think I've realized actually, Ampad does better actually as a centre back than a DM. He can still orchestrate
Yes, and
some great pass as a centre back. Again, that's my argument. Go ahead, Ty.
yes, and I mean this thought about why did this happen or why this happened, that doesn't matter. People need to understand that the moment that Tuchel was gifted a higher role, because giving him the right to choose which players he wants, which players he doesn't want, that is what he called a manager, not a head coach. We've seen that in the past the manager says that they've given their opinions, especially Lampard. Whether you wanted to say he's a manager or not, he wanted other players, didn't get them. He got Werner, things like that. No, the thing is, the moment he's given a higher role, that means that he selects which players should be the priority, which players should we go for. Todd Bowley has no experience in terms of negotiating in the football market. He has an understanding of the negotiating in general, but for the football market is not the same as the baseball market. And that's why in the beginning we heard about swapping players for this one. That's baseball. You're swapping players for one player and then expect another player to come in.
You're like
That's
trading players. Trading players.
Yeah, so it's not like that. Now, for people to be expecting him to just come in and do wonders, that's unrealistic. Now, people say, why did we let go of this person? Why did we let go of this person? There are things that led to that. They wanted to help. Fine, you can say that. What happened there? Bruce Buck, he could not stay because his role at the club was as a chairman, and that's what Todd Bowley took up. So obviously, there's no other role for him, and that was what Roman Abramovich had him to do as a chairman, to run the ongoings of the club in his absence. Now, the thing is, Bruce Buck couldn't stay. Marina, people say things about her, I don't want to get caught into that. Predacek, he left on his own free will, and we've even heard it. Unless Todd Bowley's lying, that he wanted him to stay just so he could assist him, even if it's for the window. And then,
He's
but
lying.
He left.
He's lying.
Well, if he's lying, he's lying. But if that is the case, then so be it. The thing is, DMs, the defensive midfield market is very dead. There's barely anybody available that you don't have to spend 100 million on, or 90 million on, or 80 million on. The only DMs that you can go and say, I'm going to sign this person, is if you go into the second division of the French league, or even look into the French league itself. And even those players got extensions. There are options that I think you accidentally mentioned Camavinga, which was not possible because we were not looking at him. And we couldn't get him in this window because he was already at Real Madrid. Tchouaméni, he wanted to go to Real Madrid. There was no ifs or buts about that. He rejected every other club, and we even spoke to him, and we could have signed him last year, but that was not the priority.
But that was his first full season at Monaco.
Yes.
So it was never going to be easy getting him there.
Exactly. So that is why that's impossible. So if he's out, then you have Buzuma, and Buzuma, I don't see Buzuma as a DM. He's not really a DM. He's more of a box to box. So I don't know.
He's capable of, just like Kante, he's capable of fulfilling that role.
But you cannot, the way that we play, you can't have one midfielder doing the job, and that is why you mentioned Kante. Mistakes that Kante have made last season, it just showed how key he is to the team as well. If he makes a mistake, the whole thing crumbles as well. He made a mistake against Man United. Ronaldo scored. That just showed that there's an over-reliance. He is getting older, and I've said this in the past. The reason why we see players like Kante and Kovacic getting injured is because they have to be doing double the work. We've seen Kante try to go up the pitch or progress the ball forward. Kovacic is progressing the ball forward, and then
that's a delicious comment right there. They've been doing double the work. They've been overplayed
because they have to be coming deep, win the ball, then go up the pitch, dribble the ball, go up to the defense of the opponents, and then come back down and try to do the same thing. Because we don't have a DM, and I've expressed this in the past, and people say I was talking garbage. And this is why I'm saying you need a DM, because you cannot be having a player doing double the work where they have to be covering for a player. And this is why I'm saying, why does Jorginho barely get injured? Because he's not doing the dirty work. He's the one that sits deep and then you have players like Kovacic, and we've seen what happened. Because I remember the Leeds game where a player, I think it was that James who came in and tackled him. We don't see Jorginho getting those tackles be done on him because he's not the one progressing with the ball. If players can't stop you, they'll tackle you. They'll try to prevent you from going forward. They'll obstruct you. And this is why you need a DM. I don't understand why we're not getting a DM. We're focusing on the attack. And to me, it makes no sense that you have a good attack and the defense is kept open and sliced through. And I keep saying this, a DM, we have not replaced Matic. The last time we had a DM was the last time we won the league, and I was with Matic playing. And Matic went to Man United. We see what happens when you have a DM.
I think Kante's availability made it look like we don't need one when he on his.
Yes, and he's a ball winning midfielder, but at the same time, he's not a DM. He's more of a box-to-box ball winning midfielder. So that is why if you have a DM, it is necessary because Matic was getting older as well, but he was still playing a role in Conte's team. Even if it was minimal, he was still playing a role. And I keep saying this. If Fabregas did not have a Matic or somebody, we would have not seen him do that. Barcelona, he had Busquets. Whether or not you say Busquets is physical enough, if you think he's thin, he plays a role for the team. Barcelona have this Xhaka, who is doing good now. Partey, who's doing good now. They have DMs. We don't have a DM. So that is why in the midfield, and this is why you said this in the pre-game show, the game will be won in the midfield or it will be lost in the midfield. And this is why we were outnumbered in the midfield. Mason Mount has been playing out of position for so long that he's abandoning the midfield. He's playing so high, he's trying to be in the box so many times, and his instinct in terms of coming back is slowly drifting away. He's not the same player who you see drop deep to form a 3, because realistically, we had Odegaard playing as an AM, dropping deep, winning the ball, coming back, Xhaka playing, Partey playing. We were outnumbered because you had 2 midfielders versus 3 midfielders. And like I said, Gallagher was outnumbered. It was 3 against 1, and then Mendy had to make a save to stop. I think it was Saka's shot. These things are happening because we don't have a DM who sits deep, supports the midfield, allow freedom for other midfielders. And until we get that, it makes no sense to sign attackers because the attack will not get any focus.
Ty, can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Conte, wasn't he under wasn't N'Golo Kante under Conte more like a DM? And then Mauricio Sarri
was used as that, yes, but he was more of a box to box. And
here's the thing. I think there's a misconception there.
Under Sarri,
it took me time to understand that he wasn't really a DM. But go ahead.
But wasn't it under Sarri who converted him into a box to box midfielder? Because he said that Jorginho was the DM basically. It was under Sarri where Conte made that switch to a box to box. We didn't see Conte as a box to box under Conte.
What did I say?
But if you paid attention, you'd know he is a box to box midfielder and not naturally a DM. But he's able to fulfill that role because
his best position is as a holding midfielder. His best position is at the helm of breaking up passes and not being box to box.
What did I say? You listen to what I said, though, Showtime. That is exactly what I said. I said he's a ball-winning midfielder / box to box. That's what I said. Ball-winning midfielder. Hence the point about winning the ball back. Ball-winning midfielder. He is not a DM. And yes, I agree with you. He's been played out of position for so long that he had to adapt to a new role of being a box to box. And that is why it's hard to break that out of him. That is why he's the one progressing the ball forward, taking shots whenever possible. Kovacic doing the same thing. And we've had 2 box to box with a register. That was the point I was making. We don't have a DM.
So do you think that he can go back into that position where we saw him under Conte as he gets older? And that role that Jorginho plays right now, where the register that you call him.
That's the point I was making.
All right, I think if we continue this argument like this, we may not be able to rate the player still. I think I still have another question I want to ask.
I've not said my piece.
Yes, and Bobby haven't even said anything. Yes, so just give me a second. Ty, round off your argument, so I'll bring in Bobby quickly.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is that just like Showtime just said, we cannot be over relying on Kante to do the job because he's getting older. He's in his 30s now. He's gonna slowly drift and he's gonna performance is gonna dip. So a DM is important, and like I said, until we get a DM, the attack will always struggle because the players like Kovacic wants to show his creative side will not get that freedom because he has to stay in a position where if we get attack on a counter attack, he's able to come deep and assist the defense because we don't have a DM, and that's what a DM helps to do: protect the defense and minimize the 1v1s that we keep getting ourselves in each game because you do have a DM because everybody's out of position and there's spaces in between, and that is how Arsenal scored those goals. Because if we had a DM there, the pass that Chalobah made that was deflected back into Jesus, that would have not happened because we'd have a DM sitting deep to receive the ball. And Jorginho did try that, but he's not a DM, so he's not going to be good at doing that. He tried it. You sit deep, the pass will be made, and then we play out from the back. That's the case. But I mean, until we sign a DM, we're going to always have this issue. But I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah. Before I go to Bobby, and again, I want to quickly say something. Sonny Man said he spoke the truth and he was timed out. Again, if you were timed out, probably comes down to the language we're using because we're not into name calling here. And again, if you're a moderator, as long as somebody is expressing themselves, as long as they're not name calling, like you will see that even before you start participating in the chat, please don't time them out. Just let them know you're not allowed to use so language. But I trust the moderators too. So thank you very much. I don't know what else to say. Let's talk about how much English players start for City and Liverpool. Again, I'm not going to go into that. Coach, it's World Cup. Yeah, these players want to play for either countries. They will be willing to take pay cuts. Not all of them. Not all of them. You could argue even Ross Barkley, even if he gets a chance, I think he'd wait it out and keep earning big money at Chelsea Football Club. But that's a chance he leaves this time. Again, not all of them, in my opinion. I must let you know that, in my opinion, I feel like we played better with three at the back in the second half. I think that's the truth. It's clear our team will only. Let's see what happens. And just Viola here is talking. Someone else in the chat. Courtney, how are you doing? This is my the first time seeing you today. Watching this team in the last couple of games, I have not seen any improvements or progress. It's hard to say now. Let's play the first game of the season, then we can all conclude. Because the truth is, the argument that is still preseason is still viable. Notwithstanding, to me, this is Arsenal. It's a London derby. No matter when it's played, no matter the tag that the game comes with. Once it's a London club, it's a rivalry. It's a serious rivalry. And again, we didn't see a derby spirit from our team or derby mentality from our team. But we saw that in Arsenal players. Again, I want to say thank you so much for 211 people watching. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video to help us reach more people and to help the channel grow. If you haven't, also do subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. You are appreciated. And Bobby, I'm going to come to you first. I will start with asking you this question. And by the way, it's looking more likely that the rating will not happen immediately. Maybe I'll schedule another show for it because it will be too long if we try to rate it at this point. I want to come to you.
Jesus.
Overall,
Yes.
What do you think went wrong? And again, just let us know. What do you think went wrong? Why didn't we didn't see that spirit we see in derby games?
Look, we know what this is about. And coach, by the way, well done. You're putting up 4-0 in our face so we can watch it as if we're on an Arsenal channel. That really does help. You know,
can we hide from it? We cannot hide from it.
I'm trying to pick my words. But one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm coming for this nonsense BS Marina propaganda. She is part of the problem. Accept it. She dismantled the team, lined her pockets, got extra money, lumbered us with dead wood on high wages that we cannot get rid of, and split.
I wish you kept that same energy when she brought you Thomas Tuchel. I don't care, bro.
Let him finish, please. Let's take it one by one.
Inexperienced, you know, because there's some people, I don't know whether there's some kind of mother complex or something. You're coming here, you will die on the hill for this woman. She is an incompetent person. She kicked out Michael Emenalu. She put herself in the sporting director position.
Okay, here's a question I have for you, Bobby.
That's not true. That's not. You're not
let's
saying
take it one by one, please. Let's take it one by
finish.
one. You will get a chance to respond.
Let me finish. She was doing more than that. But we have this group of woke, I don't know what is going on in the world, that like to lie and get everybody to believe this lie. She's part of the problem. And thank God she's gone. Now we're left with Bowley and Clear Lake Capital. Yes, they don't have experience. They're struggling. They're going to have lunch with Barcelona while Barcelona is stealing players away from them and laughing. Do you know what? It is a tragedy. We're watching the demise of a great empire built by Roman. Roman ran into this problem because he was stopped from coming into the country. He had nobody else to trust and left it in the hands of the one person that he felt he could trust. But she was deceptive, I'll give her that, and she destroyed the club. The club.
How did she destroy the club, Bobby? I want you to explain. And also, quickly, before you respond, Bobby, before you respond, I'm coming. Before you respond, Bobby, I want you to link.
Tuchel has said himself clearly that the problem with the team is that we cannot get rid of Deadwood and we cannot get our targets. And if we
Where's
do
the
not get
proof
our
he said
targets,
that?
we should be welcomed into a relegation
No, he actually did say that. But
like
let me ask you this,
Newcastle
Bobby.
was.
Let me ask you this. I get your argument. You think it's Marina's fault, but I want you to present it to us. Sorry?
I know it. It is her fault.
Okay, yeah, you know it. That's what the question I'm asking. Can you present an argument?
Every time we won,
no, Bobby,
she
here, can you?
the team.
Let me say something, Bobby.
So
can I say something quickly?
Get Chalmeni.
This is, this is a serious accusation, by the way.
Kounde in the beginning.
Okay, can I come in, Bobby? Can I ask you this?
That's not true. Kounde was supposed to come in last season, but Sevilla changed the fees. It's not her fault that Sevilla did that.
Let's take this one by one. Bobby, can I ask you this? Can I ask you this, Bobby? Just quickly, let me ask you this. Now, you've presented an argument saying it's all Marina's fault, right? And let's be serious here. Saying somebody filled their pocket is a serious accusation.
Accountability, massive.
Yeah, I'm coming. Let me calm down. I wanted to ask you a question. And you just said it's a serious accusation saying that somebody filled their pocket and then destroying somebody's legacy. Now, what I want to say is this, Bobby. I want you to present an argument because we're here to talk about the 4-0 loss to Arsenal. I want an argument that will link.
You wanted to know the reason, didn't you? That is.
Yeah, I want to link your argument with how we lost 4-0 to Arsenal yesterday.
That's how.
Yeah.
We can't get players. The squad is depleted.
And it's not the woman's fault.
Full of dead wood. It's her dead wood.
No, it's not her dead wood, boy.
It's her dead wood.
Oh, man, Bobby, I think you're going through something that's personal. Let me tell you something. Marina brought in Thomas Tuchel and we won a Champions League. You didn't say dead wood then. Tuchel is the one that wants to give these players a shot. It's not Marina's doing. Marina didn't say give them a shot.
I think since we're talking about it, I think the next show, I think we should talk about Marina full time. Everybody bring your argument. Let's be specific about it. Now we're here to talk about the 4-0 loss to Arsenal. Bobby is entitled to his opinion. Showtime, me and everybody else. And one thing I will never do is come out and say Marina is the reason why we lost 4-0 to Arsenal. That's me. Bobby is entitled to say Marina is the reason. But what I'm asking is, how do you explain it?
Let's try and get on without her. We're in trouble. We're in big trouble. We've got people that are inexperienced. They're out of their depth. They're struggling. People like Barcelona are running rings around them. They don't know how to handle this situation. That's the reality.
Let's blame Marina.
Half of the number of players we wanted to sign. There are also other players that they should be looking at. But what do? Because it's only 2 of them doing the entire transfer dealings, they're going one at a time. By now, they should be chasing somebody else up, not Kounde. They made their bid for Kounde. Move on to somebody else. In my opinion, they should put a time limit on that. Stop playing these games, but their inexperience is showing massively. And
here's one thing I want to say. And this is really
from Marina. That's why
This
the
is
team
really
isn't playing well.
exactly. Let me just say this quickly, and I think we should stop actually calling. Marina has moved on, and we should move on.
I know you want a defender. Maybe you've got some vested interest there and that, but I'm just letting it out.
No,
really
that's not what we do here
I'm
on
really
Chelsea Perspective,
angry
and
with what
everybody
these people
knows
have
that.
done
Do I
to my
think she's
club
perfect?
and done to
I'd say
the hard
no.
work of Roman.
She's not perfect, but Bobby, it doesn't make sense that every time we talk about anything, somebody somehow, even people in the chat, will find a way to link the failures of the club to Marina. It's not okay.
You're there lapping it up when people are coming on and saying how brilliant she is and how she would have done this, she would have done that.
Yeah,
You
people
know,
have
that's
every right
not-
to say
not
that she's
true.
brilliant.
We wouldn't
You
react
can't
like
argue
this if
the
we were
woman
not
is brilliant
accepting
and bring
people
up the
saying
cases
that.
of Eden Hazard going back to Madrid for how much he went there for.
That's
you
not
can't argue
brilliant.
and bring up
That's
the
not
case
brilliant.
of Morata and argue how much she got back from Morata and Diego Costa. That doesn't mean she's perfect. We are all entitled to our argument. But what I do not understand is the fact we lost 4-0 and people will still find a way to still say it was her fault.
You blamed they're
somebody
blaming the
that put
negotiator
something on
of
Twitter that
contracts
made me laugh.
instead of blaming the chairman of the board.
All right,
Bruce Buck.
let's
How
move
do you
on.
blame the
question I wanna
negotiator
ask you this.
for negotiating the
Let's
deal
move
that
on.
they wanted?
It's okay. Let's move on from Marina, please. The
I'm
question
not
I want to
into all
ask you,
this.
Bobby, next is this. We saw the game. Forget whose fault it was or not. From that game, the outcome of that game, do you think it will be enough to just sign 4 defenders? Because Tuchel specifically saying he needs one more defender. What other areas was it that is we learned? What did we learn? How many players do you think we need? In what positions specifically?
We need 2 defenders.
2 more plus what the ones who signed already, right?
And at least another attacker. At least. This is without even looking at the wing backs. We're hoping that the defenders that we get in can be able to flex themselves into the wing back position like Aspi did. We need to get rid of Alonso. We need to get rid of Batshuayi. And we need to get rid of Malang Sarr. Any of these hangers-on, what's his name? Rooney, what's the guy from Everton? I always forget his name and he really annoys me. Help me out here.
Are you talking about Ross Barkley?
Barkley, gone. Get him out. But you know why? Oh, guess why? Marina puts Malang Sarr on 120k a week. Who's going to pay that? He doesn't have to go. He can sit and just take it back to the bank, just like Drinkwater did. Don't talk to me about Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard is one of the best players in the world. Of course, it's easy to get the best deal for the best players. She got rid of our best youth players. We don't have defenders because she kicked out half of our best youth defenders to other clubs for pittance. So please, I just don't want anything to do with her. She's done
relax. We'll all get our chance to talk. Relax, relax. Showtime.
And moving forward is that we need to quickly get a proper director of football. It's too late now for the summer. We have to depend on Bowley and is it Egali and pray.
You could still hire a director of football on an as an expatriate and pay them. It's business.
What are you talking about?
You can still hire. You said we need a director of football, right?
It's too late. You can't just hire people into that position like that. It's too late now. We
no,
have to
as an expatriate, not permanently, just to help you get through the process. It's an important window for the club.
Well, they can do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing that already. They can talk to people, but the fact is somebody has to have your vested interest. They have to be contracted to you. It is a very cutthroat business, as we've seen. People like Barcelona, they're very, very wide. They behave like almost crooks in the transfer market. And that's what you're up against. It doesn't suffer fools. And Bowley's having rings run around him. We know that. We can all see that. We can just pray that he manages to get more players in of quality. That's what Tuchel mentioned. Quality players. That's what we need. And it's glaring. The Arsenal team, they've done their business. They've all been together. They've all been training. And they look 100 times better than Chelsea. And I repeat, if we go into a season like this, Newcastle thought it could never happen to them. See how they struggled against relegation. We will do the exact same thing unless we sort out our transfers.
Ty, over to you. Thank you for that, fire input there. I appreciate that. Again, that's what makes it a great show. And if you're watching, thank you for 256 people watching. We have 155 likes. We're shooting for 300 likes by the end of the show, and we have nearly 30 minutes plus to round up, so we can still get there. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Ty, you can come in with your counter argument, and if you want to counter anything that Bobby says, you go ahead. Up to you.
Basically, the two things that I heard, because I missed a bit of it. Marina sold.
I can repeat it if you want.
No. Don't worry, Bobby. He heard you
because he said he missed a bit of it. If he wants it again, I'll give it again. I'm out for this woman. I don't want any more propaganda for this person that has done so much damage. Let her go. Let's move forward. But don't come and start telling us, oh, if she was here, this and that would have happened. It is an absolute lie.
So with the subliminals, if you're gonna say, Bobby, if you're gonna point out somebody, say the name.
Let's take this one by one. I'll get to you, Showtime. Here's Bobby's argument. Let me just try and sum it up for you. And Bobby, let me know if I misquote you. I asked Bobby what he thought happened during the game. He said it's the dead wood, and the reason we have dead wood, that the Marina is the cause that we have the dead woods, and that's the reason why we underperformed yesterday, because they can't play and we can't get rid of them. If I misquote you, Bobby, you let me know. Go ahead.
Yeah, the team has people that don't want to be there. People like Alonso, even our captain, his head has been turned. We have the likes of Sarr that came on. Yes, Tuchel has some responsibility.
If you're arguing that it's the deadwood was the issue, then Alonso and our captain should be, those two should be exceptions, because their case isn't about their salary.
I've always looked at Alonso as deadwood. I don't think he should have been in the team last season. We should have sold him last summer, but we didn't. We couldn't because he was overpriced. But guess who? Oh, some people's great grand glorious hero, Marina Granovskaya. I am so glad to see the back of that headache. She's got her 20 million and some. Go, relax, enjoy yourself in the sand.
Why you cry about her? She's enjoying her 20 million.
Can we talk one by one? Showtime, when it gets to your turn, just say whatever you want to say, please. Let's be civil here. Ty, go ahead. Bring on your argument. I'm sure you heard Bobby.
Yeah, but yeah, the thing is, Marina, yes, she has done things. She's not perfect. She's far from perfect, but I just can't agree to say that the reason why we have these deadwoods is because of her. People and Matt Law even said it. Nobody wants your flops. And yes, the wages are a problem, but she's a negotiator. She's not the one that goes out and say, okay, this player needs to have a highlight to do well. She doesn't do that. All she does is she's told, all right, try to negotiate for this player. And this is what people tend to forget. She doesn't have a role where she say, okay, I'm gonna get you this player, I'm gonna get you this player. During the past ownership, she worked under people. The chairman was Bruce Buck. She has to speak to people first. And yes, people say that, oh, she's negotiating for this, she's negotiating for that. Fine, she negotiates for that. She gives contracts based on that. But at the same time, to blame her and say that the reason why we have these dead woods is her fault, it's not. The reason why we have dead woods is because we've had, in the space of 6 seasons, 3 different managers. Or rather 4, actually, 4. You had Conte. He got players in. Imanalo was at the club still at that time.
And then bring players in and leaves, and the next manager, Ty, go ahead. That's a delicious comment. Go ahead, Ty.
And that's the point. So we've had different managers, players that has been inherited by Tuchel. Emerson was under Conte because he came in January, but he was injured. That was not Sarri signing. And I think Sarri only signed 4 players actually. Higuain on loan, Kepa, Kovacic on loan, and Jorginho. Those are 4 players that he brought in. And then Alonso's at the club from Conte. We had players like obviously Willian and Pedro was there before that as well, and then Hazard and things like that. We had players like Barkley who was signed You had players like what's his name, Baba Rahman, Kennedy, players like that were signed under past managers. The reason why we have this is because these dead woods building up is because when new managers come in, we don't offload those players for them. We let them stay, and the reason why that is because the wages that they're on. The fact of the matter is we keep extending Michy Batshuayi's contract, and for that reason I don't understand why. Just let the guy leave on a free. Yes, you're gonna lose money, but you have to accept losses. We're not gonna get a profit on him. And the worst part about it is that Dortmund was ready to offer 50 million for him, and we rejected it. So I mean, there's other factors. Blaming Marina for this is not realistic, and it's not fair either because she's negotiating. She doesn't go out and say, okay, this player needs to be on the right, and so he can express himself more. This player needs to have space behind the defenders for him to run on the ball and get into the box and try to take a shot. You cannot blame Marina for that. And yes, people say that she's the reason why we lost these players and this and that. But players like Tomori left because Lampard undervalued him. He was no longer valued under him, and he was open to him, and he said loan him out, and then with an option to buy was added. No buyback clause. He left because he wanted first team football. What he thought he couldn't get that, so he left. Tino Livramento, we tried to extend his contract before it was going to end. He did not want to extend because he thought he was going to be behind Asper Reece James. He left because of that. Tariq Lamptey, same situation. These players want to leave, and I cannot blame Marina for these players leaving if they do it because of their career. They have their own decisions. And if they say that, okay, I want to be in a team where I am going to be starting every game or most of the games, you can't blame them. Tino Livramento is starting for Southampton. Mark Guehi started for Crystal Palace. Tariq Lamptey, although he's injury prone, plays for Brighton and he has value. We cannot be blaming Marina for these things. Yes, she negotiated and sometimes she does outprice players, but at the same time, she's not the only one that makes that decision. She has to go to everybody. She has to speak, and that is why the decision making was quicker because he had a Roman. Now, if she had stayed, it would have been completely different. And people saying that if she was at the club, we would have done deals. That is not true because we're in a consortium made up of a board of directors now that if they don't agree on a particular thing, the decision making will be slower. So yes, people say that if we had kept her things like that, but I don't think there'd be any difference. So for me, I just don't understand why we are trying to blame Marina for these things when she's negotiated. She's not going out and scouting players and saying that if you get this player for Tuchel, he's gonna strive. That's not her job. The reason why we have these deadly players is because she's told to negotiate after you have people like Scott McClacken and what is it, Turnbull as scouts who identify these players and then Marina does the negotiating part.
It's really interesting. Nobody is disrupting you because you're speaking for Marina. Isn't that funny?
Because it's
That's
sad.
how you want to say it.
Because it's
That's how you
sad.
want to say it, Bobby.
I've been the only one. Go on,
Bobby,
brother.
that's how
Say
you
what
want
you
to
say.
see it. When you talked about the same thing on Oak's channel, Oak supported you because he believes the same thing, which he has right to. But in this case, the vote doesn't. Let me just phrase it this way, Bobby. Everybody doesn't really have to support you. Everybody doesn't have to support me. I have opinions that if I voice it here, nearly everybody on the panel will be against me.
If they don't agree with you, you cut them off, and then others come and cut them off, and their voice is drowned out. That is
I asked you a counter question. It's not about cutting you. I didn't cut you off. I asked you a counter question because I wanted you to link your argument to the question I asked you, which was, why did you think we lost? And I didn't think you explained that enough to me. And when you explained, okay, now Ty is talking. It's not about a matter. You're making it seem like you're being hated for your opinions on Marina. No, you said some things that are actually outrageous. You can't just come and start blaming people, saying you're practically saying she stole money from what you said. Let's be honest. We're all educated here.
So
it's not like I was cutting you off intentionally. I like how you argue. You're very opinion that is strongly opinionated. You're entitled to your opinion. You present it. I asked a counter question. And I stopped people from cutting you off. When he tried to cut in, I said, wait, you get the chance. And believe me, there's a chance Ty is wrong. There's a chance you're correct. There's a chance you're wrong. There's a chance Ty is correct because we're not there. It's as simple as that. I like the argument you bring to the panel. It makes us think. It makes us learn. So sorry if anybody comes across as insulting, and you know I don't allow that to happen. That's why whenever anybody wants to cut in when you're talking, I stop them. Ty, go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, if people are gonna say Marino was bad, you have to say Imanalo was bad too, because he had a role of scouting players. He brought it. He was the one that scouted Kante and other players like that, and over the years he did that. But at the same time, none of these directors or technical directors or whatever you want to call them were perfect. Marina got it wrong, but she's a negotiator. Mikel Emenalo was the one that could also help in the scouting. And then eventually when he left, we saw that the scouting started to dip further. Fine. But at the same time, Marina was promoted and Emenalo for one more year was still looking at scouting players and bringing in players. Bakayoko was scouted by Emenalo. Players like these were also by Emenalo. So blaming Marina for this, I don't think it's really fair to do that. Fine, you can say she's responsible.
And truthfully, if these players are firing all cylinders, nobody was talking about their salaries.
Exactly. So I don't think so. People will complain about Sterling being the highest paid player now if he does good. Hazard was earning a certain amount of money. People won't complain about that. People say he didn't work in training and things like that. But on the pitch, he would do the job. So if Bakayoko had come and we signed an injured player who never fully recovered from that injury and it never worked out, Kennedy was a winger and we wasted him as a wing back. We ruined the guy's career completely because we played him as a wing back. He was a promising player for Brazil and we played him as a left back and he never returned to be the same player ever again. I know we're seeing him try to show those little flashes of a good player, but it's too late for him now because he's getting older. You can't learn those things now because he's 27. So those things have gone out of him. So if you're gonna say that Marina is a headache, Imnano was a headache as well because he was the one that was scouting while Marina is negotiating. People identify targets, they give her the job to negotiate, and yes, sometimes she tries to get easy deals sometimes, and that probably is frustrating. And when she's trying to offload players, she tries to get the best deals as well. But that's not wrong. When you're selling
Can I clarify something here? One complete misconception. Marina was not a negotiator. She made herself the sporting director. Let's have that right.
How do we know
That's
that?
not true.
That's not
true.
It's not true.
Okay, you know what? I finish, and Bobby will try to clarify that. Bobby, I'll give you a chance.
That is not true because if you look at
I say something you don't like, everybody just cuts me off.
Here's the thing,
Because it's fake news.
Because Ty was still talking. Hold on, Ty, finish up. I will give Bobby a chance to clarify what he wants to clarify. But right now, finish up. He will clarify. We still have IBZ and Showtime waiting to come in regarding that particular topic and argument. So Ty, clarify. Bobby has the right to come in and clarify something he wants to clarify. So Ty, you round off. Again, before Ty continues, we still have 232 people watching, and we have 163 likes. We're shooting for 300 likes. I still believe we can get there, although we have a few minutes to round off. So please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the love that you're showing this channel. So Ty, go ahead, finish so Bobby can clarify so that everybody that is responding, Showtime and IBZ, will have clarity on what Bobby is arguing. Go ahead, Ty.
Yes, and I mean, based on that, all I'm saying is that yes, she does do things in terms of trying to get the best deals. But in a business, when you're trying to sell something, no matter how, if you think the value is devalued, you always try to get the best deal to be done, and that's not wrong. If she's trying to do that, that is good. She wants to get the club as much money as possible. The problem is how long she takes. Because if it's a case where she's trying to get, for example, 20 million for Alonso, and the club is valuing him at 15, just take the 5 million loss and go forward. You cannot be trying to get the best deals until the last minute and then the club's pull out.
That aspect, I can blame her for that. We should sometimes just take a loss and move on.
I agree.
Go ahead, Ty.
that is what I'm saying. So yes, so what I can understand Bobby's point. Boy, I'm not saying that Bobby's wrong. I don't want him to feel like I'm trying to attack him or anything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the entire blame that she's getting is not on her, because yes, there's deadwood in the club, but she's not the one that identifies them. All she does is negotiate and things like that. And the point about she made it herself, I mean, he's going to explain that. But if you look at the statement when she was promoted, it was said that due to the exit or whatever it said of Mikel Emenalo, such and such has been promoted to a technical director. But I'll allow him to explain, because I don't want to make him think it's the wrong interpretation of what he meant.
So you're done, or you're looking for something to say?
No, I'm finished. I'm not really.
All right, thank you. And then I'll go to Bobby to clarify what he wanted to clarify. And then I think I'd like IBZ to speak last on this one. I'll bring in Showtime to talk. But before I do that, we have 216 people watching and we have 170 likes. At least let's get it to at least 200 likes. We need 30 more to get it to 200 likes. Again, I appreciate it. It's been a brilliant show so far. There's so much to learn. So, Bobby, go ahead, clarify what you wanted to clarify.
Made herself the sporting director. She was in control of who came and who didn't. That's why Conte left. Conte didn't want Zappacosta. He wanted another player. She insisted on Zappacosta as an example. She drove out Emenalo. She was one of the people behind him leaving. Why? Because she wanted that position for reasons that I won't say on your show. She's a smart lady. I'll give her that. But she's a terrible, terrible football tactician, football person. Terrible. And she's cost the club many, many ways. It's not totally her fault. Of course not. I've always said that. But people always want to latch on to the thing I'm saying, that, yes, she's accountable. And I will say that forever, because you want to stick up for her, because she's a woman and we all have to stay together for the girls. And we're not into that. Neither are we into ties for the boys. We're into Chelsea Football Club. I want the success of the club. And she has not helped the club. All those players, overpaid, paid, that we can't get rid of, that are a big problem to us, are all down to her, because she had the final say. Simple. Now we try and move on. We're struggling. I'm scared. I'm worried for next season, because I don't even know if we can do any more deals before the transfer window is over.
Your concerns are well-founded, because I understand where you're coming from. Again, the good thing, the most important thing is all of our argument stems from our passion, the love we have for this great club called Chelsea Football Club. Again, before I go to Showtime, and I'm begging everybody, no matter how you try to present your argument, let's be careful the language you use, so that our counter-argument don't come across as insulting to anybody. And thank you for 206 people watching. That's not easy. I am proud of you guys. Again, if you haven't, take a second to like the video. Just 25 more likes to get to 200 likes. At least even if we can't reach 300, let's get to 200 likes. I know we can do that. We can actually get to 300 actually. So, but thank you for all the support. Again, like I've always said, you don't need to donate your hard-earned cash to the channel. All you have to do is just keep watching, like the video. Even when you're watching it, you're not even commenting. Those things do go a long way. All you need, I can't thank you enough. I'm just overwhelmed by the love you've shown to this channel, and we'll keep growing together. We're like a family here, and believe me, I will try to always keep it as inclusive and as interactive as possible. That's why we're looking for a studio engineer that will help us get to every comment that needs to be addressed. Now, coming to you, Showtime, your response to Bobby's argument, and I can see he raised a very, again, we didn't want to talk about that, but it's important we talked about that, because the argument is, developed from the loss to Arsenal. And I want to let you first, you start by answering, do you think that truly we're lost again because of the deadwood or because of the manager or whatever reason? Then you can go ahead and respond to Bobby, and please no name calling, okay?
Oh yeah. It's too early to be calling people names, first and foremost. Second, I'm gonna say this. Did you see the roster that played yesterday, the starting 11?
Yeah. We saw it.
Where on that list did you see deadwood? that people aren't praising. You had Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, all generational talent that all these people like to spill about. You had Gallagher. You had Jorginho, world-class midfielder. You had Thiago Silva, the grandpa, all held Thiago Silva. You had Chalobah, promising young fella last year. Everybody was praising him once he scored that goal against Crystal Palace in the beginning of the season. Reece James, generational talent. Who else? Where's Deadwood on the starting 11? All this talk about Deadwood, we didn't see Deadwood till we knew we lost the game yesterday. So for him to come here and start spilling that talk about Marina's Deadwood, Marina this, Marina that, Deadwood wasn't playing in the starting 11. They scored 2 goals against the team that was there last year. Deadwood or not. And for you, I'm tired spot on when it comes to Marina. She's not perfect, but she's a negotiator. For you to blame the negotiator for the deals that she was told to do, it's not her fault.
And just quickly, first of all, the player she negotiated with was recommended by the scout.
Thank you. It's not her. It's not her dealing, and she has to answer to the chairman of the board, who goes back to the owner of the club, Roman Abramovich. She is the director. She is the director.
Just quickly, the question, the poll where we asked, where do you think Chelsea will finish the coming season? 12% says second, 11% says third, 24% says fourth, and 52% believe we will finish outside the top 4. Go ahead.
So for him to come in and start talking about, Marina this, if Marina,
I prefer you use the term for anybody to say. Let's not point to anybody. And whoever you're talking with, when you say for anybody to say, that person knows you're talking about them. If you don't mind, brother.
I'm really interested to know from Short Time how much responsibility he holds Marina accountable for. That really interests me.
All right, go ahead, Showtime. Go ahead with your response.
I'm going to tell you this. At the end of the day, the responsibility from yesterday is now on Marina. She took her 20 million and she's enjoying her 20 million. You can't be bitter about her leaving.
Okay, so
it's not her fault. It's not her fault that this happened. Okay. You blame your British.
We're waiting for your response. Why are you responding to Bobby individually? We're waiting. We're listening. He said something already. We're waiting for your response.
Okay.
You're making it an argument just simply between you and Bobby. Audience are waiting. If you think it wasn't Marina's fault, Bobby thinks it was Marina's fault. If you think it wasn't Marina's fault, just explain to us. Don't make it a personal argument between you and Bobby.
Because he asked me a direct question. That's why I took the answer.
Yeah, go ahead, but just go ahead, bro.
Yeah, okay. But at the end of the day, it's not Marina's fault because the Deadwood didn't play yesterday. The Deadwood that's around, they on the 1-year contracts. And I've been reading the comments and I've been doing some research myself. The players that he's classifying as Deadwood came in during the last window of Michael Eminanala, who you so magically praised. So I don't know where you see her Deadwood. She's just a negotiator. Why don't you go for the head of the board, Bruce Buck? You choose to blame the little fish in the big pond. You blame in Marina, who's the little fish, because she has a connection to Roman Abramovich, but you don't blame Bruce Buck, who's his personal lawyer and also the chairman of the board, who has the final say before it goes to Roman Abramovich. And at the end of the day, this is not on Marina. 4-0 is not on Marina. The loss came from Tuchel and his staff and the owners not doing what they needed to do. Your new owners, you don't know how to negotiate contracts, but you let Marina walk out the door when she knows how to negotiate. Kounde would have been in earlier in this window, if not for Todd letting her leave. But
I have to tell you quickly, there's no guarantee that would have been the case.
It was stated at first.
We're talking about the same club that moved the goalposts 3 times. Or twice. The first time we started talking about the player, but go ahead.
But you're talking about a player that was identified as the first key signing as the cover for Rudiger. For the cover of Christensen leaving, right? And then all of a sudden the news come out that Thomas Tuchel doesn't want Kounde anymore. That he wants Koulibaly, and he's prioritized Nathan Ake and also Kimpembe from PSG. How is that not moving? We're changing post. We're changing goalposts now because now you move from the priority number 1 to you move into number 4. Now he's delaying his option because Barcelona is coming to talk to him. And Todd Boehly is going to dinner with him, but you want to blame Marina for Deadwood. Deadwood didn't participate yesterday until we knew we lost the match. That's my final say. And Ty is spot on. She has faults, but she's a negotiator. That's not her fault as negotiating contracts. She does a great job as negotiating contracts. And I will give her that credit to the day Chelsea will remain forever, right? I'm going to give her that credit until the day I'm living. The day it's my time to go. She is the best director of football that we have had. There's no other director that came in after her or before her that's been better than her, in my opinion. That's all. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you very much. I appreciate how you presented your argument. IBZ, I hope you're still with us. Your thoughts on everything you've heard regarding this argument, why we lost the game. And by the way, again, even Ty, due to where Bobby took the argument to, Ty and Showtime hasn't actually answered what area we really do need to strengthen in the team, because the argument has led us to somewhere else. Maybe I'll come back to you guys, but let's get it done. IBC, you heard everything we've talked about regarding whether Marina's fault or not, that the debt would remain, and why we lost the game yesterday. But again, I must mention this very important point that Showtime made. How many Deadwood players started the game? It depends on who you call Deadwood. Some people see Emerson as Deadwood, and didn't he start? But again, I get your argument. That argument makes sense. If we're in fact arguing that Deadwood is the reason why we lost the game. But IBZ, you can comment.
Yeah.
It's been fire, right?
It's been really. It's been interesting to say the least.
It's been brilliant too. It's a good debate.
Do you know what I said? Yeah, this is why you don't. It is what it is anyway. You know what I mean? We move, but I hear what he was saying that Marina's all to blame. Forgot his name.
Sorry?
Who was saying Marina's all to blame?
Yeah, that's practically, she's the reason why we're not able to get rid of players. So we're stuck with those players, and that leads to the team underperforming against Arsenal. Bobby, you're still here. Correct me if I misquote you.
Yeah, I disagree.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let him come so you understand.
Carries the huge amount of the blame for the deadwood we have in that team and for the problems it's causing us going forward. She sold some of our best youth players for basically nothing. This is the negotiator you're talking about. And overpriced people like Alonso so he could not be sold. She's been part of the problem. And one of the best things we did was to get her out of that board and start looking to get proper people in there to do the business for the club. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, IBC, you heard them.
Yeah, I heard that now. In terms of her achievements, I think we have to look into that and not be emotional in our thinking. Her flight, you could argue her last year, you could say it wasn't good, but like Ty said, she's not perfect. But overall, she's been brilliant. Sponsorship deal with Nike to like 2032, raking in a guaranteed 60 million income a year. She oversees that. So that entire our sponsorship is on point. Transfer dealings, obviously we already know the money she's brought in for players that you will argue you couldn't really get that much for. But again, iron ladle of football. This is just my opinion. Obviously, I understand what Bobby's saying, obviously, in harbouring the deadwood. But the deadwood, again, we have 3 managers or 4 managers who still have their players on our books, and a 5th manager or 6th manager in Thomas Tuchel who has to inherit them. Now, unfortunately, we do not have someone that is a mediator between Thomas Tuchel and the new player, the new boss, Todd Boehly, in order for this transition to go through properly. So that makes my argument in the beginning when he let them go, when I said we do not sack the people that were already in place to make these things done.
Even if you don't like them.
The dead, yeah, exactly. Quote unquote, the dead
Please,
wood.
there are reasons they were
Let me.
gotten rid of.
I understand.
I know Coach won't like them to be said on his
I
stream.
know. I
No,
know what you said.
no, Bobby. You have, so long as we're not accusing anybody of something, we cannot, we cannot. How do I phrase it? We cannot approve.
Make
You
assumptions.
can, let IBZ finish. You will come in, Bobby.
Even if all her dealings were, or in your argument, let's just take your argument. Let's just say she has overloaded all these deadwood players, overloaded them, and we go into we now have these loan players coming back. We have a lot of players now that are unwanted and some that want to leave. Would it not be feasible to keep her in place to finish the job that she had created, knowing that after the end of the transfer window, she'll be relieved of her duties, as opposed to just relieving her of her duties, and then you're stuck with the deadwood yourself, taking on the responsibility when this woman was doing it for so many years. But that's an argument to have, because obviously she's not here anymore, so we will never know.
That makes sense. I
argue
that
if she was still in place, these deals that we are having a problem of getting done will be done, either if it's the outgoings and ingoings. But what I won't blame her now. I won't blame her at all, because at the end of the day, Todd has come in, and the agreement with Todd is that, you know what, Peter Cech, Marina, this can't work based on whatever reasons, like you said, you don't want to mention on the channel, but for whatever reasons, they said they can't make the business run anymore. Todd Boehly is taking that risk of relieving them of their duties and not putting someone in place to take care of the quote unquote dead wood, the overholding of players, the lack of transfer dealings. So here we are now. So what we have to do is accept the situation. We have to.
I get it. I get what you're saying. I see the reasoning. She should have been allowed time to clean up her mess a bit. I see that reasoning 100%.
Yes, if that's how you want to see it, it still makes sense. Go ahead, Bobby.
However, clearly he doesn't they don't trust her, and so they've gotten rid of her. I can't go into details as to why I believe they don't trust her.
I have something I want to add when you guys are done.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Bobby.
No, yes, go on, Bobby.
Yeah, so, they've gotten rid of her because they don't feel they can trust her like Roman did. I get the argument that, yes, I think I would have left her to give her time to clean up her mess under direction, of course, because it is unfair that she's not had that time, although she's had how many years at Chelsea to do that, but under different management. But it was an untenable situation. And I think both of them saw that, and she got her payoff, and she didn't have any incentive to try and stay on anymore. That's fine.
So now we're at the ground where we have to understand that the fault of this situation lies on majority, all parties, in terms of not doing the best for the club. Is that what we're going to have to accept? We have to accept that we will take down the scraps of where we are. A manager that can't offload players, can hardly get players in, and he has to work with what we have. And like I said at the beginning of the show, we just manage our expectations and not go in there with a mindset we're going to challenge for the title. Hell, we're not going for Europe. We're just going to finish respectable and have a good year. That's all we can imagine. And then hope this gradual process will take 2 to 3 years. 25, 26, you lot holler at me, we're going for the treble. That's where my mindset is right now. Because if Marina's not there and it's taking long to upload these players, we're going to have to keep these players for another year. Players may improve,
I don't
may
accept
decline.
That.
Oh, well,
that would be accepting defeat. I don't think we should do that.
Well,
I think we should fight.
We don't have a director of football. We don't have people in place that's going to help us with transfer dealings, and we have dead wood, like you quote. So we just accept what we have and we move on. That's what can we do, Bobby?
Yeah. Again, thank you for 191 likes. Ty, I'll come to you in a bit. Well, sorry, Ty, 191 people watching. Thank you so much for still being around and following us. And we have 184 likes. We need just 16 more to get to 200 likes. You can help us get there. Please keep liking the video. Thank you for all the immense support you've shown and love you've shown to this channel. Ty, go ahead. Your thoughts. What you wanted to add?
Yeah, based on the wages part of it, and people saying the wages and everything and who's on this amount, I think that I think probably one of the things that people don't want to remember is that when Todd Boehly came in, I'm pretty sure, and I think that all these the different groups that wanted to that, I think they got to see they got to look at the what is it the accounts, or I don't know what
the books of the club.
Yeah, so I think Todd Bowley would have seen the wages part of it and said, okay. And when he came to games and he saw how these players played, he was like, okay, so these players are on this amount. We're hearing now that he's planning to include something or to introduce something where you have to play something like bonuses. So you're going to be offered a certain wage, and then when you perform a certain way or when you get to certain achievements, then you get an improvement in your wages. I think maybe one of the reasons is that like I think True Blue is saying in the chat as well.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. My battery's going. I'll have to just listen. Sorry.
Yeah. Wages.
No, again, thank you very much to the panel. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You made a very interesting conversation. Go ahead, Ty.
So wages in itself, or is a thing that probably is looking at, because True Blue was saying that wages are negotiated based on expectations of those players. So I'm seeing somebody say that Husnandor.
This is a conversation really I would have loved to have, Stav. But go ahead.
Yeah, these negotiations of contracts include, players the expectation from these players. For example, Lukaku was offered something because of what he was doing in Italy. He was scoring goals, he was scoring headers, he was using his body, he was doing things, and he was getting the best of defenders. So obviously you're going to be offering him a amount that you think he's deserved because of the performances from where he's come from. It's an assumption. Now, the fact of the matter is that maybe he's looking at the situation and saying that, okay, these players are coming in. There's no guarantee that these players will come in. Let's offer them something, and let's try to agree something where when they perform a certain way, when they play to a certain level, maybe then we can offer them something that allows them to get more in terms of performances, so they get bonuses. Now, the fact of the matter is, a player like Husnandor at the time was offered a contract based on how he was doing at that time. People look back at it and say that why was Husnandor given this? Because of now. Looking at the present moments, people say that he doesn't deserve what he has now because he's not performing to the level of getting that. But at the time, under Sarri, he looked like a promising player. People were saying he looked promising. And then he picked up that Achilles injury that has still affected him. He never came back the same player. He says he's working on his strength, and you need not only the strength of physicality, but also the strength in your body and trust in your body. And I think that's what people need to understand, that we have seen Husnandor in the past take on players. No, we don't see him take on players. It's either he goes there, when he gets there, he passes the ball backwards, or he goes or he passes it to Jorginho or Kovacic, depending on who's playing. The fact of the matter is, these wages, yes, it's not promising, and when these players do not perform to the highest level, it looks embarrassing because you're giving them this amount of money. But at the same time, wages are gifted based on the expectations that when these players come in, they will do good and they'll be working for it. Some players like Reece James and Mason Mount, who are earning less than the other players that are earning more than them. It's not a good indication, and they'll be working because they know that they're earning this amount, and in order for them to get more money in terms of salary, they have to perform a certain way. So I think in that sense, introducing this new method of you have to play a certain way, you have to achieve certain things before you get these bonuses, which to me kind of sounds like FIFA. Although I can't lie, it sounds like FIFA. You need to have this sort of performances coming in. But I don't think that the whole situation of wages coming in and things like that is really it's much something to really blame. Whoever does the negotiation, which I think we know who does it, or who did it rather. So I think maybe the assumption that her doing these things has caused an issue, you can't really say that, because at the time you're looking to see, for example, you're bringing up Werner, who was the second highest goal scorer, who looked ruthless, score goals galore. You're gonna offer him a contract that you think he worth and he deserves because of the full performances he comes in. So for me, I'm not really sure about judging a player based on that is true, because, or judging a person who negotiates on wages like that, because at the end of the day, it looks foolish when the players don't work out. But if you have an expectation for these players and they don't live up to it, it's not your fault, because you're hoping that they'll come in and do the job.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ty. Again, we have 172 people watching, and we have 187 likes, just 13 more likes, 13 more likes, and we will get to 200. And there's a chance we'll still get to 300 because we have just about 10 minutes to round off the show. But Ty, why I'm with you, after watching that game, what players do you suggest we should be looking at? Or if you like, what areas do you think we really need to sign players?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I can't say which players we should be looking at, but I will say which positions that we need to be looking at. We 100% need a left back and a right back. We definitely need another centre back, at least one more centre back, and maybe that is not even enough, but at least another centre back, because if Tuchel may persist with using a back three, and I think that is what he's going to do. The fact of the matter is that Kounde is someone we're trying to negotiate for. It's not going forward, it's going backwards, and the club are confident that they can get a deal, but at the same time they have to be unsettled. So that's really the thing. I think they're looking at alternatives as well. Garvin is being looked at. I'm not really sure about the price tag and everything. We definitely need a midfielder, and specifically a DM. DM is the first priority in the midfield, and then maybe could get a creative midfielder who can probably add goals. I know the clear will agree with that, midfielders, things like that and everything. But sometimes you do need those creative midfielders as well, because over the years, every time we won the league, we had somebody who could create and somebody who could score from the midfield. So I think that is important. We definitely need another attacker, but I don't know how effective we can get an attacker without offloading players. I think we need to accept that right now we're going to, because of the fact of the matter that we have so many managers, players still at the club being inherited by Tuchel, he's not going to get to offload some of them. So when we're going to rotate, the quality will eventually drop, because people compare the likes of us, which we're probably looking at the type of program or a type of rebuild like Klopp did and Pep did. He had to get his players in. Klopp finished 8th twice, then they got 4th, then they got 3rd, and then they got 2nd, and then eventually won the league with them. So we need to accept that over the years, especially if you want to use Klopp as a way to say that look at what Tuchel has to do. He had to offload players as well. He got Nathaniel Klein in. Obviously, you had players like Lambert, who was dipping eventually. Benteke was at the club. You had Coutinho, who was brought in, then eventually left. You had a lot of players that were there. I can't remember every player in the Liverpool squad that had to be offloaded. But there was a lot of players, even Sturridge. Sturridge needed to be offloaded, and they did it. And I think Sturridge stayed up until 2018, 2019, and then he eventually left. They had Karius, who was in the goal. They had Mignolet, or Mignolet, I don't know the pronounce his name, the Belgian goalkeeper as well. They had to offload on all players. So I think we need to accept that right now, we're going to have to accept that we may finish, we have to continuously fight for top 4 until we're able to slowly but surely offload these deadweights, because it won't be easy. We're going to have to hope that clubs come in and expect and hope that these players can actually do something. But I think right now, we just have to accept that right now, we have to get a DM in. We need a right back and a left back cover, because Chilwell, I think, has recovered from an injury. Emerson is sadly not good enough. Alonso is on the way out. Aspie is on the way out. And Reece James solely is not the only thing. He's not going to really help, because we need competent competition for him, not only a backup option in terms of just having somebody who can play there because that's their role, but somebody who can actually play there, so that if Reece James is being rested, the transition or the player it's seamless. It's a smooth transition from this player to another player, and that is what clubs are doing. That is why Klopp got in Carvajal, because Robertson, although he can cross, he can create, he's not the greatest really, and he's getting older. He's 27 now, so they're getting older. So they got Carvajal in. And obviously, they're still looking at getting a right back, because Trent is, obviously he's not the greatest in that regard. And they're also looking to get a midfielder in, because Fabinho is dipping, and they haven't really replaced Wijnaldum. So if you want to use Liverpool as an outline of what you probably want to achieve in terms of what Klopp has done to really rebuild the team, you have to accept that right now we're going to have to just look at the season as we win games, we may lose games, we may draw games. But at the same time, eventually, with longevity and with proper backing and getting in players that can actually play the way that Tuchel wants to play, if it's a case where he doesn't change the system and try to change the way that they play overall, that we're going to have to be in a situation where we have to hope that we get top 4, try to aim for top 4, sadly, because I think we've gone back in a couple of years. And due to the deadwood that we have, it becomes difficult to really have that consistent creativity and that threatening output in the attack as well as the midfield and the defense. So right now we just have to get probably another centre back in, a left back and a right back, a DM and probably another attacker. A striker is a plus, but I don't know what kind of striker that is, because like we've established, Tuchel doesn't use like target mans like Lukaku, your Cavani and people like that. Yes, he can work with an Mbappe. Yes, he can work with an Aubameyang. But those players are slowly drifting away, and if you can't get them, you're gonna have to spend 120 and break your transfer record to get them in. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, thank you very much for that input. Again, if you're watching, thank you for 165 people watching. We need just 6 more likes to get to 200 likes. And thank you very much. I cannot thank you guys enough. Now I want to talk to I want to talk to again my brother here, Showtime. Showtime, I haven't watched the game. What areas do you think we need to get in players? I know you love Kante, but I want you not to be a bit biased when you talk about the midfield. And if you're in the chat, let us know after watching the game areas you need the club has to get players to reinforce what we have there already. Go ahead, Showtime. Okay, it looks like we've lost Showtime. If he's around, he should come in and talk. Let me quickly catch up with the chat. Just 3 more likes. 3 more likes to get to 200 likes. Again, quite a lot of comment, and I missed quite a lot of stuff. To read. How are we to move forward when people are still living in the past? It is ridiculous. And Marina is involved in the chat that started about yesterday. Again, that's the truth. Again, oh my goodness, short time. Do you research? Bobby is right. Do your research? You're so misinformed. My gosh. Okay, good. If you feel it's right, that's your opinion. Do my research. What am I going to learn from my research? That a negotiator is the person. She's a scout. She's a negotiator, and everything is about her. She makes the decision about everything that goes on at the club. Again. Timo is the hardest to move on because of wages. Never plays well with Kais despite a German connection. That's a good argument there. Again, I don't know what else to say. Salaries negotiated on the player's expectations and our need in such positions. And if the players come in and perform, nobody will talk about their salaries. And that's just the truth. A short time, let me know when you're back. And I'm going to skip to the very bottom. Before I do that, I want to let you know, Tribula, I saw your comments on staff. Okay, I will check it out. And thank you very much for that. Again, to everyone that's in the chat, I want to say thank you very much for all the contributions. Unfortunately, I cannot read them all. The chat was on fire today. And believe me, I will schedule a show for where we'll talk about specifically what was Marina's role and why, people blame her for the things that are going on. And I think a lot of Chelsea fans do think that it was all her fault that we have the deadwood at the club. Those are the people, in my opinion, I'd ask to go do your research and what was her role. And again, bear this at the back of your mind. If we signed those players, we're arguing that are on the very high wages, and if they do well, believe me, nobody will be talking about their wages. But that's by the way. Ty, I want to get your thoughts on everything we've talked about today. Ty, have you left too? All right. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you, taking your time, finding time to participate. Again, I cannot thank you enough. It's been a superb show. It's been a brilliant show. The argument, it is something to learn from it, whether one is wrong or whether one is right. And the truth remains, we cannot all be right. And again, we cannot all, be wrong. So I appreciate all your support. Like I said, there's always something to learn from all the people in the chat. Again, if you haven't, take a second to like the video. I cannot thank you guys enough, for this brilliant show, brilliant conversation, brilliant contributions in the chat. You guys are absolute legends. So thank you for everything. Thank you to Ty. Thanks to Showtime. Thanks to Bobby who was here. Thanks to IBZ. Thank you to everyone else that did find time to join us today. It has been a brilliant conversation, and believe me, I learned a thing or two myself. Again, when I'm about to round off the show, my screen is currently frozen. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough. With that, we've come to the end of the show. I want to say thank you to all the moderators, from True Blue to Chelsea the Kingslayer, to Steve Chelsea. I saw him there also. To everyone else, if I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. Thank you. See you guys later today if we're going to have an evening show. If not, see you guys tomorrow for another Blue Morning show. And I'll try to put up something so we can rate the players for that show. Thank you. God bless us all. And bye.
Stay safe.